And here it is. Ding dong. Roll up, ladies and gentlemen. One man went to mow. Here it is. Ding dong. Here I am. Hope you're there. The session starts. Your company required Nigerian related matters up for discussion. If that is something that tickles your interest, then this is the place to be. One man went to mow. The eagle has landed.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adeleke. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adeleke.
Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 all the men will do is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 all the men will do is another Savior. Holy, 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 all the men will do is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. In your madika, yabika kwa namno. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo. Manemo, it's an honor having you on board. When I'm singing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. Sing along, holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior. When I sing along, holy, 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 is another Savior. Getting moving right and getting moving faster now. Holy, 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 is another Savior. Holy, holy, getting moving right, moving faster. Yeah, for freedom. Is another Savior. Yeah, for freedom. Holy, 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 Namdekano is another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adeleke. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adeleke.
Well, this is Mobien. This is dedicated to the gallant heroes of the Nigerian Biafra War and IPO families all over the world. I remember the Nigerian Biafran War, in the thickness of the Biafra genocide. Hey, one man revived the vanishing hope to life. Let the great Biafran army to fight, and they were singing out, holy, 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 all the men will do is another Savior. They were singing out, holy, 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 all the men will do is another Savior. Holy, 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 all the men will do is another Savior. Many years after the genocide, whoa, yet another great leader has risen up now. Oh, and he's leading the Biafrans to victory. In your madika, yabika kwa namno. Hey, anamekele mazuche mefo.
Pardon me. Hold on one second. Just give me one quick second. All right, hold on. I'm just setting up to. Right, I'm just setting up to go live on Twitter as well. So there it is. So there it is. So we're now multifaceted. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, any and everywhere we dominate. So one man went to know the Eagle has landed. To the headlines are bombastic Emperor Wike will be in political dustbin in 8 months. Sule Lamido. So it looks as though the backlash against the Wike narrative is now coming thick and fast from the article attack dogs. So the attack dogs, bombastic Emperor Wike will be in political dustbin in 8 months, a headline attributed to article acolyte Lamido, Sule Lamido. So Sule Lamido strike, federal government consider proscription of Asuu. So this is it now, the sledgehammer approach, which is the way that Malam Buhari seem to think is the cure to everything. His solution to any and every problem is, of course, to hold an AK-47 to it. So an AK-47 to university lecturers, federal government moves proscription of Asuu. So there it is right there. The same solution, one size fits all. One size fits all. Stakeholders express concern as Nigeria's debt hit $100 billion. So record debt now within the Nigerian state, but what have we gotten from that debt is the question. The country continues to hemorrhage in every facet, whilst the debt profile continues to heighten up. Stakeholders express concern as Nigeria's debt hit $100 billion. So there it is right there. So there it is right there. Road to 2023, Tinubu supporters beg Atiku, describe Obi as a daydreamer. So yes, that is a half-right headline. A lot of people might concur that the Obi space somewhat daydreaming, but what reasons then Tinubu supporters begging Atiku? Tinubu supporters beg Atiku, describe Obi as daydreamer. So daydreamer Obi. And we may or may not land on this one. This will depend on just how the mood is when we get to it. Nigeria exports $2.6 nearly billion products. So quite what those products are, because these are products, of course, that sit outside of the traditional oil space. So what other products? Because Nigeria is still under business, if I can put it in those terms. The sort of business activities that should be taking place in Nigeria, the sort of export potentials that the country has, is still very much at its nascent stage. It's still completely untapped and virgin. So that virgin space, of course, starting to yield a little bit. Nigeria exports $2.6 billion products. So what products are those? So that is it. A rich and diverse menu, as always. So lean back, kick back, take it easy, relax into it. The usual protocols, click on the like button as you're coming in. Click on subscribe if you haven't already. And if you want to come join me live on the screen, click on this hyperlink that I'm highlighting now. If you clicked on this hyperlink that says StreamYard, it brings you into a studio space. Soon as I've finished, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Right, and there it is. So soon as I finish reading out the talking points, I'll let you onto the screen and engage you in a conversation around the talking point. So that's how it works. An open microphone session, and the open microphone, the hyperlink that says StreamYard. So there it is right there. Click on like, click on subscribe, and at your discretion, click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard. So as we set about those, let me provide you with a little bit of a musical backdrop. Your calabash to the ready. We join the guys.
Water, only water, only water, where they see ma. Water, water, only water, where they see Papa, you don't come. Oh, Papa, oh, Naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Ilé sọ́díyà kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Bọ́bí màsà kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Chifu Fáìlà tí kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùdé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùdódò jàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹyẹ o ó dìlé o. Odúyẹ̀lá ẹyẹ o ó dìlé o. Petrosonama ẹyẹ o ó dìlé o. Petrosodúnkẹ́ ẹyẹ rẹ̀ ó dìlé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And there it is right there. Powerful, potent prayers by the Kegites. Ikuko Niriwa Agbeshe made death have nothing to do with us. So it doesn't get more prayerful than that. So Ikuko Niriwa Agbeshe, as guys, I bring you this. Bombastic Emperor Wike will be in political dustbin in 8 months. Sule Lamido. Former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, has dismissed Rivers State Governor Yemsen Wike as a political emperor whose time will soon be up. Masters Lamido and Wike are both chieftains of the opposition People's Democratic Party, albeit currently at cross purposes. The Rivers governor is up in arms against the party's presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, who is Mr. Lamido's ally. Mr. Lamido, during an interview on Channels Television on Tuesday, was asked if Mr. Wike's current stance would hurt the party's chances in the 2023 elections. Please leave Wike alone. He has the right to do whatever he wants. He can give order if people in River State are slaves to him. Mr. Lamido retorted, if they are his own slave, he can control them. Fair enough, he is their emperor. Let him give them order. I saw him on TV the other day and I felt a little worried about the way Wike, was talking because he was too bombastic. He continued, in the next 8 months, Wike will be like me in the same political dustbin of former governors. Weeks ago, Mr. Wike had described Mr. Lamido as one of the attack dogs of the PDP presidential candidate. The opposition party has been enmeshed in a brouhaha since Mr. Wike lost the party's ticket to Mr. Atiku at the presidential primaries election on May the 28th. The crisis took a bad turn after Mr. Atiku dumped Mr. Wike to pick Delta Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as his running mate against the consideration of a party committee that had put forward the Rivers governor. So there it is right there. I thought it would be more punchy than that. I thought it was being frontally in the attack, but alas, it's just saying that Wike will end up an ex-governor who has lost all potency and relevance. And Wike will lose all potency and relevance because he participated in the presidential primaries and he couldn't double book, so he could not have picked up a ticket to run as a senator as well, which Godswill Akpabio claimed he did, which is illegal, which Ahmed Lawan told us he did, which is also illegal. So now, when Wike finishes his tenure as the Anambra State governor, he becomes a private citizen. He doesn't have an official designation, not unless and until whoever the sitting government decides through their largesse to give him a portfolio. So this is what is referencing in the political dustbin in 8 months' time. So tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. So TikTok, federal government mulls proscription of Asuu. So Buhari has ever AK-47 to everything. Indications emerged yesterday that the federal government may consider the option of proscribing the Academic Staff Union of Universities Asuu if it fails to call off the prolonged strike after an offer was made to it. The federal government has also approved an additional 100 billion naira for the university sector as part of the understanding in the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement. Uh, Besides, 50 billion naira was equally approved to be shared by the university-based unions as earned allowances. The four university-based unions that have been agitating for the payment of earned allowances are Asuu, which calls its own earned academic allowances, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SSANU, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions, NASU, and the National Association of Academic Technologists, NAAT. Recall that Asuu embarked on a month warning. Recall that Asuu embarked on a month warning strike on February the 14th, 2022, and has been rolling over the strike till date. So just pause for a moment and consider that. What's today's date? Today is August the 24th, and these people have been on strike since February the 14th, which is to say that as students, university students in Nigeria, they have been sat at home since February the 14th. So I think whenever that strike started, they have to restart the whole semester, if not the whole year, because what would have been retained in the minds of these fleeting, fickle youths haven't been sat at home since February the 14th, and today being August the 24th, and there is no resolution in sight. Recall that Asuu embarked on a month-long. Recall that Asuu embarked on a month warning strike on February the 14th, 2022, and has been rolling over the strike till date. While the other three unions, starting with NAAT, downed tools in March. Amongst the contentious issues are the non-release of revitalization funds and allowances, problems associated with payment of salaries through the use of integrated payroll and personnel information system, and the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement. While Asuu has insisted that its members should be paid through its preferred platform, the University Transparency and Accountability Solution, UTAS, the non-teaching staff, especially ANU and blah blah, have designed their own payment platform, the University Peculiar Personnel and Payroll System. All the three platforms have been submitted to the government through the National Information Technology Development Agency, which has subjected them to integrity tests. While blah blah and blah blah, through their umbrella, Joint Action Committee, JAC, on Saturday signed agreement to suspend the strike on Wednesday for 2 months. Asuu has remained adamant, insisting that the government should pay its members the withheld 5 months salary before it will suspend the 6-month strike. The federal government had invoked the no pay, no work, no pay policy for the striking public university workers, and the Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, on Thursday, told journalists there is no going back on its total implementation. Multiple sources in the presidency and the Ministry of Education told correspondents that if Asuu refused to reciprocate the federal government's gesture by calling off the strike, the government will consider the option of proscribing the union. One of the sources who spoke on condition of anonymity said, because of the priority President Muhammad Buhari has placed on education, he has approved additional 100 billion naira for 4 universities and 57 billion naira for the polytechnics and colleges of education. This is part of the understanding with the unions on the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement. The government has also approved 35% increase in salary for professors, 23.5% increase uh, uh, percent increase for other lecturers. Government also approved 50 billion naira for earned allowances for the striking unions. It will be unpatriotic on the side of Asuu not to reciprocate the government's gesture and call off the strike for our children to go back to school. The government is not also unmindful of the cooperation of SSANU and NASU for being patriotic. It is part of the labor laws that unions, especially ASU, should apply cessation of strike once a trade dispute is apprehended and conciliation is ongoing. From available information, the Minister of Labour and Employment apprehended the strike on February the 22nd, 2022, and subsequently held conciliation meeting on that day with ASU, and on March the 1st, whereas the dispute with SSANU and NASU were apprehended on May the 3rd by the Minister of Labour and Employment. Why should ASU say that the federal government has done nothing? You should also recall that the president co-opted his chief of staff, Ibrahim Gambari, and the secretary to the government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, to join in the negotiation to end the strike. Why is ASU recalcitrant and daring everybody? Expressing disappointment that ASU has allegedly not appreciated the government's efforts, the sources said the federal government had many options before it, which include proscribing the union. The government has so many options if ASU refuses to be patriotic. One of the options is the proscription of ASU, which is contained in the Trade Unions Act and even in the Trade Disputes Act. The president can proscribe an association whose actions are inimical and constitutes economic sabotage to the country. In the Trade Unions Act, the president can withdraw the certificate of any organization whose conduct is not in tandem with the terms of their registration. Also, Section 17 of the Trade Disputes Act permits the Minister of Labour to approach the National Industrial Court, CAP 78, Laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2004, to refer the matter to the National Industrial Court for adjudication to enforce the legality or otherwise of the ongoing prolonged strike by ASU and to interpret in entirety the provision of Section 18 of the Trade Disputes Act as it applies to cessation of strike once a trade dispute is apprehended by the Minister of Labour and Employment and conciliation is ongoing. So it goes on and on, but we can cap it there. The upshot of it is that Malam Buhari are now seeking to hold an AK-47 to the striking lecturers. So gun it down, the usual approach of the Aboki from Downra. So if it offends you, just shoot it. If it offends you, just shoot it. So how do you shoot this though? Stakeholders express concern as Nigeria debt hits. Stakeholders express concern as Nigeria's debt hits $100 billion. Stakeholders at the African Conference on Debt and Development have raised concerns about Nigeria's rising debt profile as the country's debt stock stood at $100 billion as of March 2022. So we can assume that it's gone up by another $50 billion because they've been borrowing just ceaselessly. A breakdown by the Debt Management Office DNO revealed that as at March the 31st, 2022, external debt stood at $39 billion, whilst domestic debt stood at $60 billion. Of concern to them is that despite the Section 42(1) of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 that states the president shall, within 90 days from the commencement of the act and with advice from the Minister of Finance, subject to approval of the National Assembly, set overall limits for the amount of consolidated debt of the three tiers of government. The debt limit has not been set. They described it as unfortunate that since the enactment of the FRA in 2007, the consolidated debt limit of the federal, state, and local governments have not been set by any president, and this has worsened the debt management crisis. The executive director of the African Network for Environment and Economic Justice, David Ugolo, while speaking at the conference, also raised concerns over the inability of the country to account for the $3.5 billion special draw-in rights allotted to the country by the International Monetary Fund in 2021 as a direct response to economic crisis unleashed by the COVID-19 pandemic. Ugolo lamented that the utilization of the SDRs has been shrouded in secrecy with no information in public domain by the federal government. Neither is there any parliamentary coverage of the SDR issue in Nigeria. To this end, he called on the National Assembly to hold a public hearing on the issue and invite the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning and the Governor of the Central Bank to explain the use of the $3.4 billion SDR allocated by IMF since the 23rd of August 2021, sitting idle in the CBN, as well as to explain the use of the $3.4 billion COVID facility granted by the IMF, which has been fully drawn down. Ugolo stressed that the need for a pan-African approach to the SDR contribution, allocation, and management that takes into recognition the capacity to deliver greater public good to Africans. Let me reread that. Ugolo stressed that the need for, so that should be there is the need, because that's tailed off into an incoherent sentence. So it actually incoherently written. Ugolo stressed that there is the need, so that is what it should say, for a pan-African approach to the SDR contributions, allocation, and management that takes into recognition the capacity to deliver greater public good to Africans. So we tail that off there as well. The upshot of it, Nigeria's debt profile has hit $100 billion, and there's absolutely nothing to show for it. Road to 2023, Tinubu supporters beg Atiku, describe Obi as a daydreamer. The national coordinator of Bola Ahmed Tinubu support group, the disciple of Jagaban, Abdul Hakim Adeleke, has advised the former vice president and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, to join forces with Tinubu on how to rescue Nigeria, saying that it is quite obvious to Atiku himself that Tinubu is Nigeria's next president. Alawude, so that's the name of the guy, actually, Abdul Hakim Adekoke Alawude. Alawude alleged that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is daydreaming by allowing himself to be completely carried away by social media frenzy and fake prophets that say nothing but lies. To this end, he urged the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to begin to perfect the composition of his cabinet, saying his chances of winning the 2023 elections are quite certain. In a statement on Wednesday, the leader of the Tinubu support group said, come 2023, the bitter truth that must be told is that Atiku himself knows Tinubu is the next president of Nigeria. It is only the overrated Obi who is rather deceiving himself. Obi still needs to learn the ropes. He must, first of all, weigh his political relevance, and determine his political value within the political landscape. To remain relevant beyond 2023, Obi should learn to play real opposition because democracy thrives on vibrant opposition. Unfortunately, Obi seems to be too weak to play any meaningful opposition to Tinubu. So yes, of course, Obi very much they say he's a gentleman. He's a gentleman. They say he's quietly spoken, and they say he is a clean cut. But then, of course, if you really test the temperature of the man, he's somewhat is a weak player in the political field. And what is his political relevance? It's just riding the crust of this wave, which might well land him wherever it lands him, but certainly not going to land him in anywhere relevant. He will emerge at the end of it in February 2023 as the Igbo champion. That is all that will happen. Let me reread that paragraph again. Obi still needs to learn the ropes. He must first of all weigh his political relevance and determine his political value within the political landscape. To remain relevant beyond 2023, Obi should learn to play real opposition because democracy thrives on vibrant opposition. Unfortunately, Obi seems to be too weak to play any meaningful opposition to Tinubu. So there it is right there. If and when Obi loses the elections, if and when Tinubu wins that election, or Obi would not be relevant to anything of governance that Tinubu does, because I don't think Tinubu especially gives him any consideration, and I don't think his voice will be heard in anything. If Atiku wins, he might well get a little say here and there, but certainly not. It's just parked to one side, isn't it? Really, if and when Tinubu wins, Obi is just parked to one side. Our appeal, therefore, goes to spiritual leaders of notable religions and faiths. It is time to start supporting Tinubu with prayers for God's assistance and protection in the overall interest of our nation and for the sake of unborn generation. All well-meaning individuals and elder statesmen like Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, Ibrahim Babangida Danjuma, Abubakar Abdul Salim Abubakar, Edwin Clark, including true leaders of social cultural groups, should all come together to rally around Tinubu to rewrite Nigeria's history. Nigeria is truly at a crossroad, and all well-meaning Nigerians must jettison party, tribal, and religious affiliation to do the right thing. Tinubu is the child of history. History beckons. We must not miss the point. We must all remember that when the hawks who destroyed the People's Democratic Party strove to destroy the APC between 2015 and 2019, the ruling party was left with no choice than to re-invite the abandoned political strategist to change the game, which he did, just as he did in 2015, defeating Atiku at the APC National Convention in Lagos. We must all understand that politicians do move across political parties. Hence, political parties may not be too different from one another, but personalities do. Nigerians should therefore de-emphasize working and voting across party lines, religious and tribal lines. They should instead consider individual capacity and track record. So there it is right there. I'm not quite sure if that last sentence especially coheres, but that was how it was written. So let me land on this last one, and then I'll come into the room to see if there's anybody there. Actually, let me give you two more. Let me come to this one, then I'll make a decision on the next one. So let me bring you this one. Adeleke's certificates show Osun governor-elect obtained bachelor's degree 24 days after finishing secondary school. So it never changes for Adeleke. To run for office and become governor-elect in Osun last month, Ademola Adeleke tendered a higher school diploma and a college degree that were obtained 24 days apart in the United States To run for office and become governor-elect in Osun last week, Ademola Adeleke tendered a higher school diploma and a college degree that were obtained 24 days apart in the United States last year, according to a review of the academic credentials before the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. In the records he filed with the Electoral Commission between March the 11th and 18th, 2022, and acquired by correspondence on July the 23rd, Mr. Adeleke said he earned his bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Atlanta Metropolitan State College on August the 9th, 2021. In the same declaration, Mr. Adeleke presented a diploma certificate obtained from Penn Foster High School dated July the 16th, 2021, only 24 days prior to his college certificate. So there it is right there. If this guy is sworn in as the governor of Osun State, then I am a banana. There is absolutely categorically no way this guy is going to be sworn in. Correspondence learns that Penn Foster High School is an education consultancy in the United States that offers online high school diplomas. Atlanta Metropolitan State College, where Mr. Adeleke said he attended, accepts diplomas from Penn Foster. Correspondence can confirm. If Mr. Adeleke was admitted into Atlanta Metropolitan for a bachelor's degree program with a high school diploma, he should spend at least 4 years on the course he selected. But Mr. Adeleke, born May the 16th, Mr. Adeleke, actually, let me do something quickly. I need to do this. Just give me 1 quick second. I'm just going to flash you a little musical ditty. I just need to pick something up. Hold on. Python, that's one, Python, that's two. Now Python, that's a three. Unapoli, Mary, Nandi, win the war. Python, that's one, Python, that's two. Now Python, that's a three. Unapoli, Mary, Nandi, go, you, I walk. Oh, Mary, Nizu, Giroya, Abakare. Mamanda ora, una boogie made in Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Una boogie made in Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Una boogie made in Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Una boogie made in Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Una boogie made in Nandi win the war. Python that's one, Python that's two. Now Python that's a three. Una boogie made in Nandi. All right, I'm back. Somebody sent me a clip of Adeleke dancing with some girl, which I wanted to play to you, but I cannot seem to find it. Somebody sent it to me on Twitter, which I did want to play to you, but I cannot seem to find it anymore. So if you're listening, whoever sent me that clip of who was it that sent me that clip? Because it was quite striking. Let's just give me 1 second, because I did want to bring you that clip, of course, but I cannot seem to find it. Let me just check this. All right, let me abandon that. Not especially. It's just amusing more than anything else. So let me just go back to the readouts. I cannot seem to. I cannot seem to find it. So let me pick it up from the topmost paragraph. Correspondence learned that Penn Foster High School is an education consultancy in the United States that offers online high school diplomas. Atlanta Metropolitan State College, where Mr. Adeleke said he attended, accepts diplomas from Penn Foster, correspondents can report. If Mr. Adeleke was admitted into Atlanta Metropolitan for a bachelor's degree program with a high school diploma, he should spend at least 4 years on the course he selected. But Mr. Adeleke, born May the 13th, 1960, said he did not use the Penn Foster diploma to gain admission into the college, and correspondents could not establish or disprove his statements since the school failed to respond to inquiries. For 3 weeks, correspondents sent several emails and exchanged telephone calls with officials of the school, but they failed to give any categorical clarification as to whether or not Mr. Adeleke earned a bachelor's degree there. Weeks after initially promising to respond after the conclusion of a review of correspondence request by the school's leadership, officials at the registrar's office started hanging up on calls relating to Mr. Adeleke. The University of Georgia system, which supervises Atlanta Metropolitan State College, amongst other tertiary institutions in the state, also did not return a request seeking comments. Correspondents obtained the credentials, which an analyst described as jarring and questionable, bearing in mind the politician's 2018 trial on a similar matter, as Governor Boyega Oyetola was preparing to challenge Adeleke's victory before a tribunal in Osogbo. Mr. Adeleke of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has been declared winner of the July 16 election by the Electoral Office, defeating incumbent Oyetola of the APC. While the election was widely deemed free and fair, including based on the conclusions of correspondence reporters who covered activities across the state during the exercise, Mr. Oyetola's legal team said it was banking on Mr. Adeleke's alleged presentation of forged credentials, a grievous perjury that could cost the governor-elect his victory if established at trial. Mr. Oyetola's petition was accepted at the tribunal on Monday, with Mr. Adeleke's lawyers filing initial response on Tuesday. The case is expected to proceed to trial in 3 weeks. Since potential criminal implications of Mr. Adeleke's academic credentials are critical to Oyetola's petition, the tribunal may be compelled to enlist the support of the United States mission in Nigeria to liaise with the law enforcement back home towards getting to the bottom of the matter by either extracting a position from Atlanta Metropolitan State College or deploying other means of investigating the matter. So there it is right there. Senator Adeleke about to be stabbed in the back again. So look at that, 24 days after finishing secondary school, he bags a university degree. If only I knew that system, I would have wasted all those years. Would have wasted all those years in university. So San Diego, we see you. Tiger in the city, we see you. The mighty Ajale Coco, good to have you. Brownberry is here represented, and Ovie Whiskey joins us as well. So good to see you all, gentlemen. Good to have you all. So let's get straight to it and come straight into it, and let's kick it off with Tiger in the city, Alozie, just because he's new to the space. So Tiger, are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready, one man, and thank you very much.
All right. Your voice is a bit low.
Okay, let me high up my volume a bit. Hold on. Hello, are you able to hear me well now?
Yeah, much better. Good to have you.
Well, thanks very much, one man. I've been putting my input, some of the comments, because I want to draw your attention, but you don't seem to
No,
respond.
no, no, no. I see you causing trouble all the time in
I
the comment
know that's
section.
me because
You
one
think
man,
you're a rebel or something? Are you a
I,
rebel?
I'm a rebel like you because you cause
Uh,
controversy, and I can see that. You know what you are doing very well, and
no,
that's why I like.
don't
I
worry.
know that's why I
I,
like your program.
I'm
And
only a
the
messenger.
I want to pay compliments now. Ajale Coco, uh, Baba, Ile, Ovi is not whiskey. Ovi is Papa. And
Ovia is there. Can you not see him?
I can see him. Yes, I'm in for his travel today.
All right, brilliant.
He's a nice guy. All of you are
No, no,
doing
I
good.
won't go that far. Nobody has ever described Ovia as a nice guy. Since when did that start? Eh?
He's always switching, always
Yes.
switching. He don't want to be caught, just like one man. One man don't want to be caught in one position. It's only Ajale Coco that is trying to nail him down.
No,
Okay.
I'm like an eel, I'm too slippery for anybody to be nailed down.
Yes.
But I'm with you for now. But let me take a quick pit stop with Ovie because there's something I want to bring to your attention, Ovie. Remember about 2 sessions or 3 sessions ago when we were talking about Shatima and the way he turned up at the yeah. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, I said that the way the people are going over the board, over his look, over his dressing, that is deliberate, that is there for a purpose. That the man did not just wake up and dress himself there. That they dress him like that to steal the attention of the show, to cause a disguise. Why his
Do you
principal
remember?
did not
Do you
show up?
remember? Do you remember when you said that I was trying? I was almost mocking you and running you down.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
I want to show you this because this strikes me. So if often we say that a lot of these people they listen to us and somewhat copy what we say in some instances, and you see it, and sometimes you say it's a coincidence. Maybe we're trying to big ourselves up. But what you said that day was so unique and peculiar, it cannot be repeated unless somebody else heard it. So look at that. So can you see your screen? Oh,
Yeah,
let me see if I can expand it.
yeah.
Let me see if I can expand it to be.
Like,
Oh, I'm reducing it. Oh, what am I doing?
is that Reno?
Yes. Can you see?
Um,
Can you see what Reno is saying? Exactly word for word what you said. It says, Shetima. This is Reno Mokri on his verified Twitter handle. Shetima was not sent to the NBA conference to sell Tinubu. His dressing was deliberate. It is a military strategy called "if you can't convince them, then confuse them." It worked. We are all talking about his clothes. We are not talking about Tinubu's absence. So this is a total departure from what he had said originally in that instance. And he made this comment after our session. And this comment is so peculiar and specific that if he had not heard you say it, he would not have been tweeting it. So, Reno, I know you are listening. This plagiarism must stop because I've seen you do it quite a few times. If you want to come on, just come on the platform and take it on. You will get a beating, of course, rather than being on Twitter dancing like some gay boy. That's too obvious. Is that not too obvious? That's too obvious.
one
man.
Huh?
Your
but
point.
the point is that you guys need to give me my respect. I'm a genius, but we
No,
are
no,
not
it's
hungry
still
anyway.
a dumb comment. It's still a dumb comment, but Breno Mokri is just showing us that it's equally as dumb. But that really struck me. It was actually Jafar. It was Jafar that sent me that look at this. So this cannot be a coincidence, and it is not.
You see, what about I'm good? Just give it to
No,
me,
you're not
okay?
good.
I
It's
don't go
still
ask for money. I will ask for faith. I know that
yeah.
for pay to come on your show.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
should be paid.
Yeah.
I'm making you more famous.
Oh yeah. You're giving yourself too much
Yeah.
credit. You're giving yourself too much credit, but that's fine.
Look at that.
When they say,
As if his ego was not big enough already.
no, one man. Our people say if lizard form on top tree, he look around, nobody praise her, he go praise himself.
There it is. So there it is. No, I'm waiting for you to come on so I could highlight that. Jafar sent it to me. So
To come on if they want to come. Reno and Co. Come on here.
Yes.
Who will green you small?
We've noticed, and I think I'm not alone, especially in that Arise space, there's too much similarity in our commentaries with then their subsequent programming for it to be a coincidence. So Abati and the rest of it, no, we don't even, we just want audio, just give us OG and you can keep the rest. So audio, you are welcome to come and join us anytime. And I will protect you from Ovie, who is very quite lecturer. So we want to
Ojiokwe will only succeed in bringing more viewership, but it's not going to be relevant to the conversation.
Well, don't worry, she's a clever woman. But there it is. So thank you. Let me go back to Tiger and let's kick it off formally. So Tiger, back to you. Let me take you straight to it then. So Nigeria, the federal government considering proscribing academic staff union of universities. So here it is, and there we are. We're back to where we always were with Buhari. Anything that confuses him, he will just want to shoot it down. So what are you then making then of the IPOB strategy being applied to the university lecturers? Tiger, on mute.
I've unmuted. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Buhari is just surprising everybody. This is not how to rule a country. These are educational associations. They are a group of tutors and lecturers. I myself, I happen to work in one of the school in UK, not as an academic, but in an administrative capacity. You don't do this. It's not by compassion. They have the legal right to go on strike, and whatever point or their demand is, at least you meet them halfway. You cannot impose. These are academicians and intellects. You cannot impose with coercion. That's my own taking. I think Buhari has run out his course. He needs to go, and thank God he'll be leaving quite soon. The Nigerian education space cannot contain Buhari again because he has not done anything meaningful for Nigerian education. Even though the budget for education is very minimal for a country like Nigeria. That's my own take.
All right, brilliant. But on the flip side, do you think the lecturers are being actually somewhat excessive? Because I mean, just reading through that, they've been on strike since February the 14th, and it looks as though efforts has been made to meet them in some space, and in negotiations, everybody has to give a little bit, but it looks as though they are not willing to yield at all. They want it all, and they're willing to sacrifice our students to get it all. Are they being a bit excessive?
We might say they're a bit extreme, but we don't know what their demands are, how governments relating to their demands. So we can't accuse them of that. So we're only hearing from the government side or this and that because they want to spin it. So, however, we would expect Asuu to at least accept the negotiation halfway. But given the propensity of Nigerian economic downturn and where, especially our economy is based, our foreign exchange is based on oil, coming from oil, and if you can see the wastage coming from there. That we are losing 700,000 or more or less barrels per day, which is being pillaged or stolen or ineffective. This is the time for us to pump in more oil. The world needs oil, and we could sell it at maybe $100 per barrel. We would have pumped in more oil and sell it or do some trade by barter in exchange for some services. I know we belong to an organization called OPEC, which means that we are regulated how much we can export or produce a day. We are regulated. But however, we are not at our capacity, and we can see over the months now how much have been
But
missing.
sorry, Tiger. Going back to the university lecturers, it looks as though a lot of the things, quite a few of the things that the disputes is around, a lot of it resolved. But what seems to be the sticking point is the government has adopted a policy of no work, no pay. So for the 5 months that they have been on strike, the government are in the position that they are not going to pay them. But the lecturers, they are insisting on having that pay as well. So they've increased quite significantly their pay scales. They've renegotiated the agreements of 2009, but now this no work no pay policy seems to be the sticking point. Do you think the lecturers should be paid for the 6 months period that they've been out of the classrooms?
Yes, I agree that they should be paid because there's nowhere is written in the law, in the labor law of the country that if people are on strike that they won't get paid. So if government want to reach a consensus and bring them to amicable solution, they should pay them and resolve the whole thing. Otherwise, they're going to hold out and it's going to drag for a year. This is not the first time the Asuu or whatever are doing this. And it's going to drag, and who are losing? The students, the parents. So government should think wise of their decision. Because if they sorted that iron out every other thing, then it remains the pay of during the time which they were on strike, they should pay them. That's my own opinion.
Oh, all right, brilliant. And to the Nigerian debt profile hitting $100 billion, which in itself is quite a thing, but if there was commensurate activities within the economic space in terms of infrastructure, etc., you might well say there's justification for it. But $100 billion new record debt for the Nigerian state, but with no commensurate insulation for the Nigerian person. What are you then making of this spend and loot policy of the Buhari administration?
Okay.
Borrow and loot, rather. Borrow and loot policy. Carry on.
Yes, my input is that most of these contracts are inflated. So, and the contracts are not carried out. I mean, what did they, when people are bidding for this, for example, if you go and borrow money from China, let's say a country from China, and they are supplying all the logistics and everything, um, then you're not gonna have the how would I put it? Um, you don't have total control, and what they're going to give you will be quite different. For example, if four countries will want to give you loan, right? They give you conditions and what they're going to build. So for people who are applying for a contract, let's assume they're applying for a contract now, they will present what they will do. From there, you can take a look at what is good for you. But in this case, if they are borrowing money from China, China supplies logistics, supply labor, supply manpower, supply the finances, then they'll be able to dictate whatever they're going to give you. And in the end, you're going to pay the money. But the problem is this: what is the infrastructure for? So for me, infrastructure should be placed in areas whereby, in the areas where they can get economic activities, because when there's economic activities in those areas, then they'll be able to utilize the services and people will be able to pay. But let's assume you go and locate a railway to somewhere in the desert, and how many people are applying that route? And how would you make, how many industries are in that area? So that's what matters. It's not about infrastructure. Where you put this infrastructure, it matters a lot.
You know,
And
you're perfectly correct. You know, because we always have to cite the example of the train from Kano to Maradi. That's a two point something billion spend. What is the economic value? Zero. So it's a vanity project and an ethnic project. So now put that $2 billion into building linkage from the southeast to the southwest so that there's freer flow of traffic, because that's the economic hub of Nigeria. the southeast, and the southwest. So that generates more value than building a train to Maradi, which nobody is going to go on. As soon as they inaugurate that train, that will be the end of it.
That's a challenge Nigeria is facing, because I think Buhari just want to put some infrastructures in the north. He think maybe they've lost out over the years, but um, we all live in the Western world or abroad. But whenever they are citing infrastructure, they have a reason for putting it there. They take economic activities and survey. For example, when the HC2 was cited. Woman, you live in the UK, and didn't, don't you?
Now, I
You live
admit
in
nothing. No, I live in
I,
Oyo Alaafin. I live in
no,
Oyo.
you are not in Oyo.
Do you
Otherwise,
want do you want,
Nigerian.
me, do you want to see the goats outside my?
No, no,
I'm in
no,
Afidio local government area.
no. I know when people come on this panel and make presentation, I can't decipher where they come from. The Americans, they are different. People who live in UK, they are more gentler and everything. So
They are more
I can't.
gentle. Yes, the
Yeah. I
Americans
know that.
the Americans
Yeah,
are brash.
they are
They
very
are brash
brash. Yeah,
and crude.
yeah. So
Eh?
one man, I know you live in
Only
UK.
San Diego is the only gentleman from America so far. The rest of them, they are. Ovie is a good example.
Uh, okay, so
Who be this guy? Who be this guy? What an audacity!
No,
Where are you
it's
calling
a
from in the
sharp
first
brain
place?
now. He's picking up what's going on. He's nailed it. Eh?
uh, so like we were saying, so the challenges in Nigeria, they are quite immense, and you don't know where to start from. You see, that's the problem. We can't get it right in politically. We are not getting correct. Economically, we are not getting correct. Uh, Otherwise, we are not getting it correct. But individually, people are getting it correct. Nigerians have talent. I was watching YouTube today, and I was able to just wow, this coming from Nigeria. This is good. This is good. That's good. Wow, that's
What
excellent.
were you watching that inspired you?
I think I've forgotten the name. I think it's a program. I just fumble upon it. A
All
program
right.
where maybe two people meet and maybe a boy and girl, they tell this person to tell how would you approach this person if you see them on the road. And
All
what they
right.
were
Okay.
saying is quite inspiring. I said, wow, this is coming from Nigeria. That's our youth. They are quite inspiring. They are very talented. So if you take this youth now and put them with one man to work in UK, they will explore into greatness. But it's Nigerian factor. Nigerian factor is very, very bad. Until the foundation is rebuilt, every other thing we are doing is not gonna work. Even though,
Or,
yes, that's my
go,
own content.
no. Round off. You were about to tail off with a sentence. So what were you? Yeah, go on.
I don't know where I am
Oh,
anymore. One
oh,
more, you
oh,
confuse me. Can you
oh,
let
oh,
me
oh,
know?
all right, no, let me take you to another space then. Bombastic Emperor Wike will be in political dustbin in 8 months' time. So this is Sule Lamido, and there is a lot to what Sule Lamido is saying. Because you have to understand that Wike, he has no political follow through after his tenure. He's not going to be a senator. He's not picked up a ticket for that. And his administration, his 2 terms comes to an end early next year. So by early next year, Wike essentially becomes a private citizen, unless, of course, the sitting government gives him a portfolio. So what are you then making then of these gambits that Wike is playing? All or nothing. He's throwing
Oh,
all his chips in with Tinubu.
yes, I was watching your program. I think I don't know if the one in the day or later in the evening around 9 something. But I think one of the panelists made a comment that Wike want to remain relevant uh, uh, within the party because he know his tenure is coming to an end. Like you said, he didn't pick up a ticket for House of Rep as a senator or anything, but he wants to influence the party. But Lamido, is Lamido not in political wilderness himself? I thought he's still in PDP, right? So
Yeah, he's
uh,
in PDP, but he doesn't have, yeah, he's a private citizen because he's not picked up a senatorial, yeah.
yeah, but the mistake we are making is this: you don't have to be at the forefront uh, in order to run things. You can be at the background running things, and you put men there, and they are running things, and you form a caucus within that your zone. I think that's what Wike is trying to do. Wike, and like someone said, he knows articles time. let's presume that Atiku doesn't win. That means Atiku as the leader of PDP is over. Then it will now comes down to Tambua, but people know that Tambua is a traitor. So I don't think Tambua will get headway. And Wike has the money and he wants to have influence, especially within southern Nigeria. I think that's what he's trying to do.
You know, Wike is playing a real gamble with the future, because a lot of things have to happen for Wike to be secured come 2023. He's playing a real gamble with Atiku, with this open warfare, and Atiku can be quite vindictive. If Atiku becomes president, he will punish him. So he's gambling that Tinubu becomes president, and he's also gambling that his agent becomes the governor of Rivers State. Because if Rivers State falls into the hands of APC, which will be Tony Cole, he would destroy him. So a lot at stake for Wike for the future.
Yes, I agree with you, but I don't think River State being the incumbent, when we say incumbent in Nigeria, we know what that means. Indirectly means that they have the resources to rig the election and influence the outcome of the election. So, but for Wike, I think Wike you can take under direction. You can't trust any Nigerian politician that they are like prostitutes. If he fail, he'll move to another party. And believe me, let's assume PDP. I see PDP. If PDP fail, I see PDP divided into two. The same thing with APC. If either of these parties fail to win the presidential election, I see some people forming party out of those PDP or APC, because I can see there's already dividing line there already. So I think that would be the outcome with Wike or some other aggrieved people in APC. That's what they will do. So you can't trust Nigerian politicians. But Lamido, this is Nigeria. I think it's not very vindictive like you think. I don't think Atiku is vindictive. If Atiku
You don't
wins,
think so? After what Wike has done, you don't think he will
no,
punish
hold,
him if he
yeah,
becomes president?
why I say one man, because if Atiku rule one term, let's say 4 years, and he need to, I know if he rule 4 years, he's going to go for second term, which is under 4 years. So, and we don't know how his government is going to be. We don't know how the economic reality will be. We don't know how the political atmosphere and security. So we can't pinpoint how security will be in 4 years or how the economic prosperity of Nigeria will be in 4 years. So he might still need people like that to form alliance again and say, "Okay, let's settle this. So come back again." So we don't know. So there might be political realliance again. So no one can predict the future. This politics. They say in Westminster, a day in politics, a day too far. So that's how it is, one man.
All right, brilliant. Welcome. Brilliant. Welcome. So good to meet you. Stay with us just for as long as you can. Let's go on from you, Tiger, for reasons of time. Let's go to San Diego and then we come to Ovie. But you're up next, San Diego. Do we have your attention or?
Okay. Yeah.
Or do you want me to give you a moment? Do you want me to go to Ovie first?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, brilliant. Let me start you off from this space. So this started here. So this, let me bring it up. So this started here. This was how this started. So it started there. And in spite of that, this guy went on to win a governorship election. But then it didn't stop there. It then starting from there, he went on to win a governorship election. But it didn't stop at winning a governorship election. It then went from there to here. So now it didn't stop there still. So it's now landed in the space that this guy, 24 days after he finished his school cert, he also completed a university degree. So this is Senator Adeleke, of course, the comedian of the Nigerian political space. And it's all the permutations are that this guy is not going to be sworn in as the governor of that state. Not just for the ridiculousness that we saw. This same certificate thing that truncated him in 2018 is coming back to truncate him in 2023 or 2022. So this guy now, he's gone to America and purchased some dubious certificates, which the which the election tribunal are now inviting the American embassy to set the FBI after that structure in order to bring him down to his heels. So Senator Adeleke and his fake certificates, what says you, San Diego?
Wow. It's a lot to digest with. When you said, I'm trying to understand, okay, he went to school in Atlanta, right?
Yes, he said he went to a Penrose somewhat secondary school. I think you call it high school there or something, and secured a high school diploma. And then 24 days after completing that high school diploma, he then completed a university degree at Atlanta something university. But then, of course, he needed the certificate from the high school diploma to get into the university to do the degree. And the degree is a 4-year program, but all of that condensed into 24 days.
That's not possible. I need more.
No, but there it is.
Because there's no way it's possible. I mean, judging from online, I know this in Atlanta. I'm familiar with the online class. I mean, online study university here. You can pretty much obtain your BSc like in about 2 years or 3 years, but not for 24 days. So that's impossible. So I'm thinking there's something really wrong going there if that's the really true statement, because you can't be that dumb to present such such a certificate or evidence as his graduation or that.
It can't be that dumb. Are you sure?
Dancing or whatever. I remember.
It can't be that dumb. It looks exactly that dumb to me. That is exactly the sort of person that would do such a thing.
Yeah, that's the video uncle. Okay, they like to have fun. They are like social media, parachutes. So there's nothing really wrong. It's just all about fun. But anyway, going back to the topic, it's very fishy if that's the true statement. I need more information about that. If that's what he really presented to Nigerian politics, that's not going to work. I mean, I know you need a minimum of secondary school education, right, to contest for any kind of political position in Nigeria.
Yes.
But there should be a clarification. But let me ask you, have they tried to verify about his
They tried to verify, and they've sent several emails to the college Penrose to verify. So they've responded somewhat, but then they stopped communications, and then they started to phone the institution to inquire. And as soon as they mentioned Senator Adeleke's name, the institution, they just hung up the phone. So there is something dubious. There is something fishy in the state of Denmark.
Hold on, one man. Can you give me the name of the online college he went to in Atlanta? Because I can do more. Verification on that. Because some of those online colleges, some of them is no more functioning, and you can obtain your degree. All you need to do have your money. If you pay your money, you can obtain BSc or whatever bachelor degree within 2 or 3 years. Because the curriculum is not of a great substance to the curriculum. You can obtain your degree there very easily, because I know about a lot of Nigerians, not just Nigerians, I know about a lot of people here, that have done that.
All right. It's called PEN, PENN, Foster, FOSTER. So PEN, PENN, Foster, FOSTER, high school. So that is where he said he went to. And then he went from there to Atlanta College.
Like a GED or something. Did you do a GED or I don't know?
Yeah, that's to obtain your GED. You don't really have to,
right.
Okay. Yeah, all you need is GED before you go to they can
the
take it
equivalent
before
of
you
that.
go to college.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, but anyway, he doesn't need a college. He doesn't need a college degree to to embark on Nigerian politics. All you need is primary or secondary school education. So, but more information need to become about. But the problem is that if there's any kind of falsification of Eli, then that's where there's problem. I don't really see any big deal about that. That's not going to disqualify him unless there's some Mago abracadabra, like you have said in Nigeria.
One man, we need your own paper to verify. You need to see.
Don't worry. I went to
Yeah,
Maryland
you know, you don't know, you don't know,
Secondary
you don't
School.
know. You worry. Let's see.
Alexander Fugo may
Let's
as
see
well
your paper,
verify me.
please. One man,
Don't
let's see your
worry.
paper.
Don't
Where did you
worry.
go to school?
Eh?
Let's make sure it's not
What
fake.
do you mean? Where did I go to school?
You need to know.
Did I even claim that I went to school? What leads you to the conclusion that I may have gone to school? What leads you to that conclusion?
Mama, you went to school. Don't say that. You went to school.
Who told you that? Who told you that? I did not go to school. I know nothing. Olule. I went to Olule High School in Idimota. So there it is.
You went to Agbado Grammar School.
Agbado Grammar School,
Wow.
and I graduated in cassava. Feed them cassava, feed them Agbado. All right, let me take you from there to more serious matters. Our stakeholders expressed concern as Nigeria's debt hit $100 billion. So I think that's a new record for the Nigerian debt profile. And that's not necessarily too high a debt for a country the size of Nigeria, but it is the commensurate infrastructural facilitation that is where the query is. So if there's no justification for that $100 million, then it becomes a burden. So what are you then making of this new debt profile of the country?
It's alarming in a nutshell, but every country borrow. Look at United States, they borrow, all the time. China and everything, they do borrow. But that's not the issue. But the problem is that what are you doing with those money you borrow? How is that benefiting the country? If you borrow money and put it in a substantial, arena, then you can yield profit to benefit the country. Then they can easily pay their debt in the future, whatever years, how many years, they're going to pay their debt. But it's the borrowing, and when they borrow that money, they share it among themselves. That's where, the situation is very alarming. The borrowing is not the issue. What are you doing with the money you borrow? That's where I have concern, because they're just borrowing all this money to share among themselves. That's why Nigeria is in this predicament we are right now. Nothing constructive coming from the money they borrow. It's not it's not the money they are borrowing. Every country does it. But how are you utilizing those money you borrow? So
I agree with you, because in the course of that readout, there were two drawdowns of close to about $5 billion in total from the IMF facilitation for the COVID insulation for countries. So Nigeria drew down that money, $5 billion, but it wasn't documented anywhere. The only thing that people were able to pick up was that the drawdown was taken. But who approved it, what it was spent on, where it is, nobody knows. So this is where the difficulty is. It's just all of these monies that are borrowed in the name of the state, but then disappeared within some spiraling hole. And we, of course, have to pick up the tab when the creditors come calling.
Yeah, that's where the extreme corruption come in. This has always been my issue with that country. The corruption. Nigeria is on a different level. I know every country is corrupt. Even in this country, they are corrupt. But here, there's a little bit of accountability. But in my country, there's no accountability. They're gonna arrest you, release you. The other day. Look at the culture, culture that was, arrested during the primary election. Nothing happened to him. How many people? How many of these politicians has really been dealt with or have paid a penalty to what the crime they have committed? So that's my
look at Oji Uzokalu that was jailed for his criminality, and then they let him out after 7 days to great acclaim, and then they celebrated him in the Senate.
Okay, let me ask you, why? I wasn't following by that time. Why did they release him? Because he embezzled Anambra money. I know he had some money already before he became a politician. Notwithstanding, I think he's like the second richest Igbo man or politician. This is all Anambra. This is all Abia money. Did they release him based on technicality or what?
Yes, he got out. That's exactly right. So they released him on a technicality. And by the way, that case, it only if you recall how far back Orji Uzor Kalu was the governor of Anambra State, I think he came in with the Fourth Republic, which will be from 1999 to 2007. So it was only till last year that they were able to get some justice against him. And that justice short-lived. These guys spent less than 2 nights in Kirikiri before they released him to a hotel and then released him to walk free.
You see, all this shenanigans is what's so alarming about this country. I mean, there's no accountability. Like I was saying, every country is corrupt, but at least there's an accountability. So that kind of, if you have accountability, that that will make you fearful of if you're going to commit a crime or not. I mean, that is what's so baffling about that country. How can you release somebody who commits such a crime? I mean, sometimes you get bored of discussing about Nigerian politics, but that's why we are here.
It's the same narrative. Let me acknowledge Alexander Gomez's super chat, and then I want to take you to a different space. It says that's a GED diploma for folks without high school diploma. It is easily bought here. America is an extremely corrupt society. So that's to clean up that space about Adeleke's certificate. And Alexander, go on.
Alexander Gomez, I don't know about being bought. You don't have to go to school. You can do from online or that kind of thing. But I don't agree with Alexander Gomez that you can.
No. That America is corrupt. We all know America is corrupt.
I'm not saying they are not corrupt.
San Diego. At least the first 2 years of college, it's just charity to me. Unless they're going for a very technical program like engineering and like maybe nursing or medical pre-med. All other subjects, pretty much the first 2 years, they have all the Q banks online. It's already there. People just make easy A's the first years of college now. So to be honest with you, unless you're going for a very technical degree that requires you to take a board exam to even practice, I won't take your degree serious anymore. That's just me for now. So Mr. Gomez is right for saying that.
Oh, is that right? Okay. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Why do you think some companies care about the school you went to? Because they know that all these online windmills just chunk people out. If you have the right money, you get your worthless degrees. That's the way of thinking. So if you don't go to a buck and like if you don't go to a UT now, they won't even take you seriously. Like some companies they actually focus on the school you went to because it determines the kind of education you got. So Gomez is very right on that.
Oh no, definitely I agree with you. Depends on the kind of profession where you are. If you apply a job, say I have a bachelor degree, if it is like business admission, all that kind of thing, there won't be any verification unless some technical, field like medicine, IT, all those kind of things, there may be some verification. No, I agree with you.
Like if you go to like IT and you went to WGU, if I go to UT Austin, there's no way, even if you have 4.0 from WGU, they will take me from UT Austin all day because they know there's a difference. You see what I'm saying?
But money is very important in American universities. So depends on how much you get. Forget that way they talk.
No.
Depends on how much you get.
When it comes to like I said, it depends on what you studied. If it's a very technical field, they care about where you studied. If you just
if you do medicine, but I agree with Babati. Like if you do medicine, there's no way you're gonna apply to a hospital or wherever just with a forged certificate. Eventually you're gonna be corrupt.
I remember. Wait. I remember Ovie, those kind of courses requires a board exam to pass first before you practice. You cannot just because you finish school go practice. You still need to take a board exam. So if you like, go and forge your fake. When you get to board, you will fail because you must pass a board exam.
A lot of people were sent to jail. A lot of people were sent to jail a few years ago. You remember, a lot of people were sent to jail a few years ago based on the school that you went to, San Diego, UCLA. It was in headline a couple of days ago, years ago.
No. That's
that's not what it was.
That is entry. Okay. Wait. That is entry.
It's the getting of admission to the university. That's not what it was. I mean, there was a preference.
It's part of the whole thing. If you go deep,
it's not. Don't.
America, money is very important. Forget all this one at the talk. It depends on the level of your money and your connection. You go pull them off easy.
All right, let's move San Diego from that space, but still staying with matters academic. the federal space, they are threatening to proscribe the academic staff union of universities for reasons of this strike that is ongoing. So they've negotiated and acceded as much as they can to the demands of the universities, but of the lecturers. But the lecturers seem to want it all. So on the one hand, Buhari reached to the AK-47 as a solution to everything, to proscribe and to shoot. But then on the other hand, there is an argument that the lecturers might start to somewhat appear to be a bit excessive. But where do you weigh in that divide, Sandiego?
Yeah, this is getting too extreme right now. This has been going on for about 6 months right now. I'm thinking there should be a middle ground, whereby they can come to a middle ground because, our kids need the education. I mean, they are the future of the country. There's no nation that can progress without the future of the country, be, in a disarray like Nigeria is right now. So everything is just too complex. Okay, let me give you my opinion. I think the teachers should come to a certain kind of agreement. I mean, all their demand doesn't have to be made for them to go back to class. I mean, they should come to a middle ground with the federal government. I'm looking at it from the student point of,
It's quite a long time, isn't it? Since February the 14th till now.
And if care is not taken, it's going to go on, through the next election, and this is not good for the kids. So, I mean, of course, you have.
Imagine how many girls would have gotten pregnant, how many boys would have turned to Yahoo Yahoo, all this sort of. We just been at home.
Probably a lot. One man, because what can they do? What are they doing? They have nothing to do. There's no option. There's no job. It's not like US or whatever. If that happened in US, most of them will get a job, maybe in Amazon and all that kind of things, making it maybe some decent living. But that's not applicable to Nigeria because a lot of them will turn to crime, Yahoo, like you said, having a lot of babies, So, I mean, the whole thing is not good for the nation. But on a final analysis, I think they should come to a middle ground, Yeah.
Well, Sandiego, one of the sticking points is that the government has adopted a position of no work, no pay, which is to say for the period that the unions have been on strike, the lecturers they are not going to get paid. So that is to say a 5-6 months pay is going to be absent. So they want that pay, but the government is digging its heels in to say that they're not going to get that pay. So how would you arbitrate that space that the government has a no work, no pay policy, but then of course the lecturers are in anticipation of a windfall pay for the periods that they're on strike? So who should get that space, Sandiego?
I think they shouldn't go by what already transpired. They should give, they should pay the teachers, because this has not been implemented. They can't implement such a policy at the middle of the strike. I mean, they can implement it going forward, say no work, no pay, but not with what already transpired. Because from my understanding, on the previous years, when there had been a strike or something like that, they have given them the back pay. So they should come to a middle ground right now. Say, okay, we're going to pay you your 6-month backlog, or whatever. Maybe it's going to be 7 months by the time they come to agreement. We're going to pay you that month. This is where it's going to come from. Let it come to a middle ground. And the teachers should, have some sympathy for the kids. I mean, I'm just speaking. I can only speak because I'm not in that predicament. But they should come to a sympathy for the kids that, this is our generation. They need the education because they are stuck right now. If this going on, do you know how many years? Because they can linger, they can be like in a years, they have set the kids back. So they should come to a middle ground. No, it shouldn't be like they have to go back, whatever the federal government decide, they should come to a middle ground. I don't know who's is it Ngiga or whatever? That guy, man.
No, they've actually assembled a high-profile team to negotiate with the lecturers. The person in charge of the education sector is some element called Malam Adamu. So that already gives you a coloration. But they've added a team together that's composed of Ibrahim Gambari, who is the secretary to the federal government. And then they've added Boss Mustafa to that team as well. So which is to say that the inner caucus of the presidency are part of the negotiating team with the lecturers. They facilitated for 100 billion naira and then they facilitated for an additional 53 billion naira. They've increased their pay quite sufficiently. So a lot of concession has gone in the direction of the lecturers, but there are still those are little small details, especially around that 6 months pay.
Yeah, I think that's a starting ground. I mean, that's a starting ground. If the story just presented is true, I mean, if it is true, that's a starting point. So I believe the the teachers should consider that, whatever they are demanding, maybe, they put the other ones in writing, say, okay, for the future, we need all this implemented, I'm just thinking enough is enough. I mean,
enough is enough from the 20, from the 14th of February, kilo day now. I mean, that's almost a year gone.
Right. Yeah, pretty much a year gone. Do you know how, do you know what this has done to the students? I mean, look at in America, maybe so in London, anyway. The cover was for about 2 years or whatever when the kids didn't go to school, and this has taken them backwards. Even the college, the college kids, because my wife is a professor here. I mean, when they first started school late last year, he told me about how the student was behaving in school. When they came back. So.
No, that's showing in the results here as well. The grades of the A levels and the GCSEs, they're lower than the previous few years pre-pandemic. So certainly it's affected the academic trajectory of students. But let me take you to a different space and a final space, San Diego. Let me take you to the space. We're back to, no, let's not go to Yemson Wike. Let's go instead to Tinubu. So Tinubu's team now, they are speaking to Atiku to cede the presidency to Tinubu because he is a non-starter, and they are describing Peter Obi as a daydreamer. So a lot to unpick from there. So asking Atiku to cede it, of course, that's just political back and forth. But describing the Obi space as daydreaming, and they go on to expand on that daydream. What are you making then of this politics that's been played by one of the Tinubu satellite groups?
Well, that's part of politics, but in my opinion, I don't think Obi is daydreaming. I mean, that Labour Party is daydreaming. I mean, are they going to win? I don't know. I mean, we can only stay here and commentate and give our opinion. Of course, we don't have any votes. I don't think they're going to win. But if you ask me, who has a better chance right now, the way it is as of today, it looked like Tinubu has a better chance. So I mean, that's just part of politics. So it doesn't really. I mean, I don't give. I don't care about what you said. I mean, I follow more about American politics. So I know how the politics is being played here. So it's all talk. It doesn't really.
You follow American politics. They've just jailed Nancy Pelosi's husband for reasons of is it drunk driving or something?
Where did you hear that?
Look at that, and you say you follow American politics.
No, I know he did something about drunk driving some time ago because they live in San Francisco. So I've not listened to news this morning because I just woke up, and stuff. I mean, I'm working right now, so I remember where I am right now. It's too early right now. It's like it's still about 7 o'clock here.
All right, brilliant, San Diego. Thank you. Stay with us. Let me acknowledge Alexander Gomez's super chat, and I want to take the conversation to VA for reasons of time. So Alexander, he super chats to clarify that academic space, the American, what he describes as fraudulent academic system. He says, I am talking about GED acquisition essentially, folks. So whatever that means, I'm sure it resonates with the Americans. I am talking about the GED acquisition essentially, folks. So what does that mean? Just give us a quick interpretation of what Alexander means, San Diego, and then we'll move on.
Well, I mean, let me read it. I am talking about GED acquisition essentially, folks. What does that mean? I'm trying to understand what you mean.
All right. I think it's to that space of how American certificates can be bought or not.
Yeah, the GED is like our own GCE, right? Yeah. That's if you are coming as an external student or pass your WIEC, you go and write GCE to make it up. So it's like that's what a GED is. So he's saying that it's easily to actually buy it, or pay your way through the GED since you are not actually going to a formal school to take it.
Oh, all right.
I didn't know you can buy it, but I thought you can go, you can obtain it very easily, like a couple of months or whatever, But I didn't know you can buy it.
All right. Thank you, San Diego. And to you then, Ovie. So let's start you off with Alexander Superchat. So do you concede what Alexander is saying that certificates can be bought in America?
Man, America, anything goes. Forget all this way they talk. Yes, I understand when it comes to higher education, America still top the world. You give them to that.
Top the world. I wasn't aware that Oxford or Cambridge are in America.
One man, when it comes to higher institution, in America, that's the only thing that keeps them going.
Oxford and Cambridge in America.
It's not just Oxford. Oxford, America.
If Oxford and Cambridge are not in America, then America does not top the world. Because the top schools are Oxford and Cambridge, followed by Harvard.
Outside the military industrial complex, now higher institution that keep America still going. Forget all this noise. They are still topping the world when it comes to higher institution. They still have some of the finest. And by that, they attract some of the best brains.
Hold on, you cannot say that now. When there's documented, there's a hierarchy now. There's a table where Oxford and Cambridge sits at the top, and then Harvard sits in the top 5. So yes, the United Kingdom tops education, and then
let's look at it from this angle. Out of those top 10 in the world, how many of those are there, America?
Quite a lot, but at the topmost spaces are the UK universities.
That's where I'm coming from. So by not doing, they have attracted some of the best brain around the world for that reason alone to come to America.
One man.
Yes, the corruption is there.
Cambridge is number 4 as it stands now. Every time they shift, it could shift every 2 years or every year. So Cambridge as number 4. I think Harvard is number 1.
Where would you rather send your child? Oxford, Cambridge, or Harvard?
It depends what they're going to study. It depends what they're going to study.
What do you mean depends what they're going to study? You send your child to Oxford or Cambridge.
It depends. Because some degrees and some profession, if you say someone to MIT, they might take someone from MIT before they look at someone in Cambridge. So the same thing vice versa. It depends.
And you can send your if a child wants to study theater art or something, you can send him to Harvard. But if he wants to study something serious, then you send him to Oxford or Cambridge.
Exactly, that's what we are saying. Like you say in art, you say Harvard, right?
One man. No, I agree with you. When it comes to connection, you give it to Harvard. I mean, they produce how many out of state, not just in America, all over the world, captains of industry. You give it to Harvard, they get that connection locked down. But just as the last speaker is saying, it depends on what you want to study. MIT, when it comes to technology, MIT, UCLA, this one in New York. I mean, give it to America, one man at the start. They get out. Yes, I will respect those of Oxford, and I respect them. But the majority of these hierarchy school, either based on course of study or connection, America still lead. They still lead. But that doesn't mean what we are talking about doesn't exist. It's very, very prominent. All this corruption to buy your way in, to buy, like, it's normal. It depends on how much you have and your connection. Because now serious money we talk about here, no be common egunje. So, and I understand even many schools were inducted. The rate they give a certificate to the Chinese student when they were coming here. Course we're supposed to take them 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, under 3 months, 6 months, they don't give them. Why? Because they are paying cash. Because if you look again, now only international students and those on sports scholarship, they graduate for university in America without debt. And the probability that if you graduate with $10,000 debt, you might end up being the rest of your life a debtor. So that's a count. They need that money. So those students who are bringing in cash from outside, they get whatever they want. It just depends on how much you have. America be that. But yes, the seriousness is still there. There are some things that you can't take for granted. You give it to them, yeah.
All right, let me move you from that space. But Alexander Gomez superchats to that space. He says, my stepdaughter attended Harvard. It is overrated or overrated. and then it goes on to add, especially first degree.
One man.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
connection. It's all about connection.
Those schools are good for one thing, not the education, but for the, like Ovie said, the connections you get after school.
Yes, and it's for the prestige of the
if you apply, then you say, oh, you went to this school. Oh, most likely your boss went to the same school as you.
Yes.
Can I interject one?
You know what they call that in the UK? They call that the old school tie network. That's what they call it, the old school tie network. Yeah. Okay, Tiger, have your interjection. Then we hear from San Diego, and then we get back on stream with the talking points here.
Those schools are rated because of the research they conduct. It's not about because of any other thing, because they've been around for a long time now. It's because of the level of research they do. That's why.
What are you talking about?
I think it's more their reputation than anything else.
It's more.
Let me praise you.
And listen, it's pretty much alumni driven. That's the whole point. It's alumni.
Yes.
That's all. It's not because there's any research. Forget research.
No, they do research.
Let me tell you how it works in the UK. I was saying about the old school tie network. Let's say, for instance, you graduate from Oxford or Cambridge, and then you are going to apply for a job in the bank, and you know that the boss of the bank, he's an Oxford graduate, a Cambridge graduate. So what you then do is you wear your school tie to that interview, and as soon as the person sees that school tie, which is his alumni, you stand a better chance of getting that job than anybody else. Whether you are competent or not, he will progress you through that space for reasons of that old school tie network, and that is what consumes the 80% of Westminster, which is the seat of our government in the United Kingdom. They are old boys from the old school, Oxford, Cambridge. Yeah.
Well, man, when I finished school and I couldn't get to the residency, do you know who got me in? An alumni. Dr. Bell just wrote me a letter. I didn't say anybody. That was it. He said it was the first set of that school. Paul Elfusan in El Paso. It was the first set of that school. I got easy. Just one letter from alumni. I got in. So to forget all this research. If you
yes, so the research may be the research, but it's the name recognition, it's the prestige that carries those schools.
He said it was the first of that school. No way, no how. Just so I got in easy. That was it.
All right. Let's hear from San Diego, and then I want to take you back to the main topics. But San Diego, you wanted to come in.
Yeah. We were speaking about the university, accreditation and their ranking in the world. I just wanted to present something to you. This is as of 2022. I mean, they're interchangeable sometimes, but Oxford is always ranked number one. But let me give you the top 10 as of 2022. University of Oxford, number one. California Institute of Technology, number two. Harvard, number three. Stanford, number four. University of Cambridge, which is MIT, number four. Princeton, 5, University of California, Berkeley, Yale, and University of Chicago. So it's kind of dominated by United States, but Oxford is always ranked, 1 or 2.
Of course, now the best education always has been, always will be.
Let me give you one example by actually praising the Yoruba space too. Because one of my boss, when I was in Dallas, Yoruba, Mr. Femi from Ondo State, he was able to take advantage of, so one of the best secondary school in Dallas, I think was ranked 6th in the nation, but was able to, put all his head in one basket and push 3 of his kids through that school. They got scholarship the first one got a scholarship to Yale because he was, he ran track and he played football. But most importantly, that school is geared toward this Ivy League. Now, what am I trying to say there? When this guy, as at last year, when he finishing from Yale, guess where he'll be doing his IT from? From GoDaddy, one of the best search engine companies in the world. Why? Yes. Because his classmates, his daddy owns the company, and he graduated from that. So that connection is always there. You
know why they send people to all these prestige elite schools? It's because the people that go to those schools, they end up at the top of the pyramid in all of industry. So when you
Yes.
go to that school, you have that old school tie So globally, if you go to Dubai and the chairman of the bank is from he went to Yale, Harvard, Oxford, and you went to Yale, Harvard, Oxford, whether you're from Ghana, whether you're from
Yeah.
China, he will give you the job because he
Straight.
knows. Yeah, it's an elitist thing.
Because he asked you some question about the school. Say, is that man still teaching that department? He said, yeah, I know him. That banter is still there.
And then they have this rowing tradition between Oxford and Cambridge. It's a yearly gala that they row on the Thames. So if you were part of the rowing team or in Oxford and Cambridge, just go and sign a check for $10 million for the future for yourself. You are secured.
Those big sports.
Because
I hear discussing.
And then when you want to say yes, don't say yes. You say yeah, because that's how upper class people talk in England.
Yes.
They don't say yes. They don't say yeah in that the way you are meant. They say yeah. So if you are yeah, they call them yas.
But don't blame
and
them.
again, one man.
Don't blame them now. When somebody can put down almost 40 million for just a building in a school, of course they will have access now. Yeah. So don't.
And again, when you are there, you are bound to be either you will be lucky to be be in the same class with the governors or presidents or council of industry. So you are the same fraternity.
The Prince of Brunei is your roommate. The Prince of Brunei,
Yes.
And then the Royal Saudi is who you see to have lunch with. Yeah, secure for
everything are set up. That's why when they come, that's why in politics, when our Southeast people they talk of fairness, justice, and equity, all those things now just language, now crap. It doesn't exist. They will do what they want to do. Forget the justice, fairness, and equality. And grammar.
And somebody said discussing research.
Yes, Fanina was saying a couple of days ago that they should. All the political elite space, they should gather to kick Obi out to make sure that Obi does not get into that space because it's not one of them. For no other reason, it's not one of them. They don't want the smellies coming into the room. So this is how it is. Elitism always protects its own. But let me take you to let me take you to the Nigerian debt that has hit $100 billion. What says you?
The Nigerian debt.
Yes.
No, go. I mean, go stop now. It will keep increasing. So I don't actually worry about that. There's nothing we can do about that. If you interrogate them, they go point you to America. Only trillions of dollars. They go point you to UK. They go point you to. So they will say every country is borrowing. So that's their excuse. So they will keep borrowing. It's not going to end.
Yeah, but it's not the borrowing. It's the commensurate justification for the borrowing. So there is no commensurate justification for that borrowing, which is to say, it's the Peter Obi narrative, isn't it? Consumption, not production. So there is nothing commensurate in terms of something that pays it back, maybe not in actual fact, but that expands the economy to make it an economic space to insulate that. So there is no insulation for it, but the debt is there.
Yeah, I mean, I think APC would try to justify by saying that they borrowed to build the infrastructure, building railways and all that. And again, I say that deliberately to actually touch on this. We always criticize this road to Maradi and all that. But one man, how many of us know that the biggest drone production company, military drone production company in the world is situated in Nigeria?
Well, nobody knows that for reasons of the fact for reasons of the fact that it is not true.
So what am I trying to say? The rate at the Western world are trying to get out of Nigeria. We are surrounded by all these kind of things around all our neighboring countries. So if we are not being nice to all these our neighboring countries, what do you think is going to happen? They go sell us out quick. And once they sell us out to these people, it's over. So when would they criticize some of these things? Let's look at the world politics and the regional politics that comes along with it. So most of the time, I know we won't see the anywhere they put money, we want to see the benefit immediately or physically us being benefiting from it. Most of the time, it's not like that. our territory still needs to be protected. Why Nigeria? That's the question we should be asking. That's the biggest drone production, military production in the world by the US.
But it's nothing to do with drones. And Rotimi Amechi, when he was being asked to justify it, he never inferred that it was anything to do with drones. He was just saying that there are economic portals that Niger Republic, they needed a portal to the sea, and the train service will facilitate for that, which was quite a feeble argument at the time.
One man, please, quick question. How much of that rail are they paying? How much of the money is Niger paying for that train line?
They are not paying anything. Nigeria is actually paying $300 million
That's my
get
point.
that train from Nigeria, and they beg them to be able to do it.
It's my point, one man. If you need if you need my seashore too for your exports, you should be paying me now. You should be the one paying me.
Babati.
Yeah,
Babati, that's not the point I'm trying to make. Again, we are being petitioned on what we want to see. What about the bigger picture? I don't expect Amechi to come and say, Americans, they do something here, we need to do something to curtail them. He's not going to say that. He's not in position to say that.
Why not?
You can't say that now.
Is it a hidden thing that you know it, that America has a drone facility? And why would America have a drone facility in Niger Republic?
Exactly. So you expect Amechi to be questioning that space like that? Like me and you will question
I'm asking you, why would America have a drone facility in Niger Republic?
I mean, America, they spend money for military equipment on the other country for what reason? What their interest now? I mean, just look at what Chinese is going through today. Chinese is surrounded by all these things that we are talking about. There's a reason for all this, so we need to be. You
know that Niger Republic is a francophone country.
Yes, the France too. I have bent on that. They are doing their own shenanigans too. There's much going on beyond waiting me and you they worried about. There's a lot going on. When you
talking yam.
No, okay. Again, another thing again. How easy you think Nigeria will gather support for people like Okonjo-Iweala to become the world president? Now, because of all these things that we are doing to the neighboring countries, because now just one call and they will respond. No, we need their support anytime it comes to vote for that.
You need the support of the Niger Republic for Madam Ngozi to become WTO.
I know be country with them be. They're just like our several nations.
My guy, let me just move you on. You're talking yam.
No, it's not just Niger. Almost all the neighboring countries. I'm just saying Niger because
for Madam Ngozi to become WTO chairman. We build a 2 billion train to Niger Republic.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
You're talking yam.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I am saying that we should there are more reasons than what the officials are coming out to tell us. There are some things they cannot see. You understand?
Buhari already told us the reasons. He told us that it is unfair that his relative. He said he gave an interview on the Rise where he was asked the question.
Yeah,
and he gave us his reasons. So I'm not quite sure why you are. It's a Fulani railway. That's all it is.
Ovie trying to spin it. Ovie trying to spin it.
And it's struggling very badly.
He's struggling now.
You guys know, I'm not making excuses for this administration. I'm just telling you, if you ask them, they will try to justify it like that. But I'm just saying that there's also a bigger picture that we too need to ask. Why is these people here? What are they looking for?
What is the bigger picture? Tell us, since you say there's a bigger picture.
That's what I'm saying. We need to understand what are regional policies. Why is America building their own drone there? Why? That's the question we should be asking.
They are not building a drone there. What don't keep saying that they're not
already?
No. They're not.
Yes.
What do you mean building a drone there? You mean
the
they're building
the biggest military war drone manufacturer industry in the company in the world situated there. The Americans get that.
That's not true. What technology supports that? What facility
supports
that?
Asked.
What facility in the Niger Republic supports the building of a drone manufacturing facility there? They have no electricity, they have no road, they have no security, they have nothing. What supports building a high technology something there?
Wama, do you understand that I think about 2-3 years ago, the American military were massacred and brutally beaten over there? and it was just they just lay under and I just just
so
like that.
no. What you want to say probably is that America has built an air base or a base in Niger Republic, but it's not a drone manufacturing anything. There's nothing in that.
That's why I asked how many of us know. Researcher, what I'm saying is not no business a new thing. Researcher, you go see what they talk. I'm not just because I did lab. I'm serious. It's a fact. Just do your research. Anybody that can Google it, now Google it. I won't forget the name of the town. There's a name of the town there too. That everything was there. Because this man was in. Remember, the Secretary of State was in South Africa about 3 weeks. By that last month, gonna lay down their plans about South African region. Oh man, news day no be only IT and this thing you go there before you understand our Nigerian politics. You gotta go enter some villages too to understand what is going on. Anyway, I'm just saying. I just open up that space for us to do more. There are more questions to ask than answer we are asking for. There are a lot of questions that we should be asking rather than
I agree with that because there are layers of things that are happening that are outside of the public glare. Of course, I concede that, but not to the point of America having that's just yam. But let me take
I will send you this thing to actually factualize what I'm saying. Like Obi will say, go and verify. But I will send you my verification the link.
I'm sure Obi is starting to regret that now that we are verifying and we are finding that it's just a gangster. But let me take you to a different space. Federal government
I'm gonna leave the space so you can so T-Niger can get in, okay? I'll be online, I'll be chatting.
All right, brilliant. Always a delight. So that's San Diego, a new voice now that we're conjuring with. So thank you, San Diego. So let me take you to a different space. Ovie, federal government considers proscription of Asuu. So what are you making of that? The sledgehammer approach, which seems to be the calling card of the Aboki from Daura. Yeah.
I think the confusion has started already. I see what's his name? Lasso branch of the association. They come out and started protesting already. That they cannot just the secretary and the leaders of the Asuu cannot just wake up and decide to yield to what the federal government is offering and call off the strike. That there's a need for them to call it Congress and they carry all the necessary party along before that kind of decision to be taken. They are actually calling for the resignation of the secretary to the senior staff association of university, non-university staff or something like that, the one that you read out. So the UNIDAC branch of the association is calling for the resignation of the secretary, which is what's the guy's name again? Adeyemi Peters and Mohammed Ibrahim. They are calling for their resignation, that they are colluding with Asuu. I mean, so what am I trying to say? Soon now they're going to abuse themselves. Say this one don't collect bribe. This one don't collect bribe for like the man you call Adamu and the rest. So the confusion is there already. But me, I know they pay attention to what they are doing. I'm paying attention to the ripple effect here. We all understand that there is going to be one way or the other the franchisement of people to vote. Now you keep these students for house. A lot of them registered at home. Guess what? When it matters most for them to use their PVC, they will be in schools. They don't call off the strike. And nobody is seeing that. Majority of these students, a lot of them that will be who are pro-obedience. And that is why I keep criticizing the OB marketers. They are paying attention to the wrong thing.
Sometimes I don't like to, but obvious. I think you take the conspiracy theory a bit too far in most instances. So are you saying then that the schools were shut down from February all the way through, so that it can then cascade to a conspiracy to end in 12 months' time in another February? It's just. Why do you say this thing? Why do you say these things, man?
Wait, one man. I am not saying that, but at the same time, these people are not to be excused, are not innocent to trade apart. If they happen, people will be disenfranchised within those processes. Maybe that's not their aim initially, but it's going to happen. I'm not saying they wait on strap purposely because of that. But as it is going now, people are going to be disenfranchised, whether we like it or not.
They are not. They are not going to change the academic cycle. So I'm not sure what the academic cycle is in Nigeria, but I'm not sure that they'll be in school at that time anyway. And even whatever the academic cycle is, I think they're going to be shutting down affairs for the elections. So everybody is back home for the elections anyway.
I hope they will not change anything, but if there's one thing me and you are agreeing on, these people are going to be on section during that time. Yes, they will give them that weekend for holiday. Of course, it's always like that. But how many people where they just in Lagos and where they school from Meduguri, they see for Calabar, we say, oh, I want you to take the risk because I want to come vote, make I enter road. It's not going to happen. So a lot of people will be affected. I'm not saying that is the main reason as we are on strike. But guess what? Allow me to read the meaning. If I be the obedient, knowing that majority of us are students, they'll be going back on campus. Therefore, don't they shout these things from the beginning? Because they are going to be disenfranchised. When people will register for Lagos and their various houses, how they want to vote when school day on section? I'm just saying that's not the reason, but if you put one or two together, it's going to happen. So you feel saying that conspiracy theories or no, but one or two people, this thing, we go see that. Let's see how it goes. That's where because I'm seeing the political line now. I mean, of course, the school are on strike. It's not a good thing. I mean, nobody could tell us what is going on is good. Nobody. But guess what? I see political season. You have to not the same players. Nobody Adamu that will be the Minister of Education. They are the same players now. One man. Anyhow, you try to just like what we are talking about the elites, they are assembled together and send their children to this kind of school, this kind of school for reason of connection and just keep ruling the humanity. That's still the same. All these little things now they take into consideration too. But nobody is seeing it like that. I'm surprised. That's why I say if I be obedient, I will focus on that. And I wait for them to shout from the beginning. They need to call this tribe because blah 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 blah. But I mean, what did I know? As you said, I mean, conspiracy theories. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it is conspiracy theory. Yeah, it is conspiracy theory. But let me
there is no in my word. There are no conspiracies and there are no coincidences. These two, I totally believe. Nothing just the apple like that.
So everything is orchestrated. That's your belief. Everything is orchestrated.
To some extent, yes. To some, no people they do. Like human being, they carry anything where they happen now. Everything where they happen now, we they do one way or the other, knowingly or unknowingly. From that way we know buy for the senator. Everything now, human being they do them. So there are no conspiracy theories as far as I'm concerned. There are no coincidence.
All right. Okay, let me take you to a space that you cannot conspire. So incoming of Osun State, here he is in celebration. Okay, they claim that is his daughter apparently, but is he celebrating too early is the question. So incoming of Osun State bags a school cert and a university degree within 24 hours. So rinse and repeat. This was what he did in 2018, and it looks as though this will bite him again in 2022.
I mean, one thing you have to give to the Yoruba is they know how to groove. I never sleep since yesterday. Based on the Yoruba people, they put me for house. That groove. So leave that man, make you enjoy himself. But again, on that space, one man, I think I will be shocked if they actually if the man will skate through. I'm basing that on two things. If you remember, immediately after the election, Buhari Naim be one of the first people that actually call and congratulate him. Even before the party chairman said when they denied the next day, say no, he never see the result. Buhari has already, sent a congratulatory message to that space. That's one. Two, if you listen to Prof. Wale Soyinka in that interview, he spent good amount of time, speaking to that space. How he said that then what's his name? Bola Ige. It's Bola Ige mandate that is coming back. And I think he was furious based on the fact that how then go carry Yomi. He didn't mention Yomi Omishorini, but that's who he's speaking to. How they go make him, give him position for party as the party secretary to the party now as we speak, which is Bola Tinubu candidate, by the way. So why they go person that they are accusing to be, masterminded of killing of Bola again? Why they go see they give him position? As in, he spoke in depth in that place. So that makes me think that they are actually happy that the way the result turns out. So I don't know how they won't come go now to overturn. I don't care say his certificate or whatever. I think his opponent, the party opponent during the primary election, his opponent went ahead and board about this qualification burara, and he didn't succeed. So I don't know how Oyetola will succeed in doing that. So when I look at these two events that just took place, the president congratulating him and Wole Soyinka speak to that place with joy and celebration in a way. I don't know how they want to turn them.
But the law is the law. The law is the law, and if the law stipulates, then you cannot have some fat boy dancer.
One man. If you listen to this thing we then do NBA, we then do for Lagos. So I think the previous one was it last year. Before Buhari first time, Buhari was invited as one of their speakers, and he told them the law had to take backseat when it comes to national importance. He said it, and if you listen to the NBA president interview yesterday for I think Arise, and he said that when they asked him about Buhari and all that, he said that yes, the law will take second seat. So yes, the law is the law, but we know the space where they operate on. The law is the law. Yeah, Imo State get fourth person as their president. The law is the law. So that law, forget that. It depends on who this law they go against the law. If not me and you, they go against the law. Of course, the law will work well. But if it's not them, then they go against the law. They'll find a way to bend down. So I don't really they say whatever judgment they are going to pass in that Supreme Court is actually the law. They might use and if they don't like your face, if you know be the clique, they will say yes, not the law. But if they actually want you there, the law will take second bench. It will take back seats. That's
right.
what I see. So I would be surprised.
But that Buhari space, it was more to national security than anything. It was saying matters of national security, not matters national, but matters of national security that the law subordinates itself to.
Yes, I understand where it's coming from, but at this point, they make anything national law, they make anything national security now. Anything they want, they'll make it in national security. If me and you talk anyhow, they go say with the trust in national security, they'll come out. So forget these people. One man, Moku just they look there, they laugh, they just study how they move. They don't get rules and laws that govern that space. Just like you're talking about Pelosi husband being jail. Jail for how many days? 5 days. Why? Because there is a real issue that is bigger than saying he's a drunk driver. Say there's big accusation on Pelosi herself. Say they link, they give links regarding trades in a secret. You understand? And they are big beneficiary of it. So that has been on the table. So what is the best way to actually shift attention from there than pulling all this one? Now the man has small picking. They jail him for 5 days. If I do that, you know how many years they go jail me? Say 5 days jail, but everybody's milking us about
it's symbolism now. It's symbolism, so it doesn't really matter because it goes down on record that he was jailed. So it's symbolism, isn't it?
I think the point is making is that people should know that everybody's not equal under the law. There's no fairness when it comes. It applies differently. It's like your level of the way the value in the society determines the kind of law that applies to you technically. And if you're very valuable to society, then they take it easy on you. So that's just the reality of the world.
Well, yeah, that's I don't know if you've read Animal Farm, George Orwell. Some animals more equal than others. So that's always been the way of it, and that goes to the Harvard something that it's elitism.
Exactly,
it's elitism. But thank you, V. For time, let me go on from you to Mr. Ed, who seems to be a new name that is joining us. And you know how we love to document our new names to know their politics. So, Mr. Ed, are you ready to go? If you are, on mute. Mr. Ed. All right, Mr. Ed is not ready to go. So let's go from Mr. Ed then to Ajanle Koko, who hopefully is ready to go. Ajanle Koko, are you with us? All right, Ajanle Koko, not. Are you there, Ajanle Koko? I can see you're unmuted, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay.
Are you ready, or do you want me to give you a moment?
I'm ready.
All right, brilliant. So Adeleke go to it then, and to Nigerian debt reaching a record high, $100 billion dollars. So that not necessarily, that's alarming somewhat, but not really excessively alarming if there was justification for it. But what are you making of this new debt? And is there commensurate in terms of what the debt has purchased for the Nigerian person? So the Nigeria's new debt profile, what says you, Ajanle Koko? Are you at the airport?
Yeah. No. Okay. Hold on 1 minute. I'm having a bad. Okay. What did you say?
No, I was asking you about the Nigerian debt profile. The Nigerian debt profile that has hit $100 million. Your commentaries on that?
That's a death sentence to that country economy right there. Because
sorry, Ajanle Koko, we can't hear you. Let me give you a moment because we're struggling to hear you. Let me go to Babati instead. So Babati, hopefully we can hear you. Are you ready? Yeah, Babati.
You mean the debt ratio? Like
yeah. Take it from
I
that.
think we should just look at the debt to GDP ratio. That's what is more concerning. So you can there are good debts for any country. Like you said, what have we done with the money we've gotten so far? We've squandered it. And if you look at our GDP to debt ratio, that is unsustainable. So until the people stand up for their own rights and change things themselves, I think these people will continue to borrow and spend it lavishly. It will not end. I mean, this is the thing that bothers me about the world, though, in terms of debt services and borrowing, is that these people that borrow Nigerian money, they know fully well they cannot. They're not using it for anything meaningful. I mean, they say that they want to use it for building roads and infrastructure, but they know the money's still coming back to them. So they're doing it. Why do they keep giving them that money? I mean, I don't sound very naive, so asking that kind of question. But I don't know why they keep borrowing them those huge amount of funds, knowing fully well that they will not do anything meaningful with it. But back to the people in Nigeria, they have to be the one to change the course of that country. Because if your government keeps borrowing money one month, at some point you will run out of money to borrow. Countries will not borrow anything anymore. So I don't think we're there yet. We still have some assets to trade off to get funds, but at some point we wouldn't have any options anymore. And that's what I was referring to as the breaking point. The other time I was on this platform, that we have to get to a breaking point as people. There has to be like an alcoholic. You have your what's it called, your rock bottom. So until the country hits rock bottom, then we can even discuss issues like this. But until then, we will keep borrowing until that happens. So that's just the only way. The people have to vote against the government, change the system, and figure it out. There's no other way. There's no other way.
All right, brilliant. Kulata comes into that conversation. It says debt to GDP is great, debt to revenue is pathetic. So I think that's some economist reading of that headline. So perhaps in the later session, we'll come and break it down in further details.
Woman, can I ask you, when it comes to the debt, in terms of what the federal government owns, I don't think people focus more on what the state, because the state also borrow money, right? I believe they borrow money.
Yeah.
What are they owing as well? Because I've read some state like Asuu, for instance, they have more debt than they can even make, in terms of even more than their revenue in a year. They have more debt. So how are they allowed to borrow, knowing fully well that they're making money mostly from revenue, not necessarily their own internally generated revenue?
Yeah, I think the federal state, it insulates that debt, because that 100 billion is the cumulative debt Yes, of the federal, the state, and the local government. So that's the total debt profile of the entirety of the governmental structure. Yeah.
Oh no, wait! You said local government.
Yes.
Where are they borrowing money for? I didn't even function.
No. Now the farmer needs a wife now.
No. I'm being serious right now because I'm being serious. What is local government borrowing money for in Nigeria to do?
They want to do Sockaway now, and they want to do
so they borrow the money.
social outreach and whatnot.
Yeah, but what might they do? Okay, but I keep overflogging the issue. That's why I just sometimes give up on that environment. Sometimes, the people have to. What is rock bottom is the point. What is because they, like I said,
in many ways, Nigeria is actually under borrowed. That's why they're still able to access funds. But because in terms of the overall size of the economy, Nigeria is quite under borrowed. But in terms of the revenue that is generating, is over leveraged. So they are at that tipping point where the economy either has to be expanded, other sources of revenue that is already domiciled in the economy, it has to be activated, or they start to draw back on their borrowing. So, but all of it too complex for Buhari, of course. I mean,
like even if they expand the tax and they bring in more money, they will still squander it. That's what I'm saying. They will still squander the money regardless. So it's not really a matter of income generation issue. It's a spending issue. It's a spending habit and what you spend it on. That is the issue. You can bring in more money and have more revenues and funds and ratio or all we're talking about. But what are you spending the money, and what is the impact of the things you're spending money on? That's where the issue should be. That's where the debate should lie.
All right, brilliant. Let me take you to Senator Adeleke. And there's a good sense that this guy would not be sworn in as the governor of Osun State in November. All the indications, in the electoral tribunal there after him, is a certificate ever in question, equally the certificate of his deputy, and all road leads to tears for Adeleke in November. What says you?
He's a very interesting character. It reminds me of, how sometimes we focus too much on issues and you just need that laughter. It reminds me of when this guy from Benin was in the House of Rep. And each week I would tune in on YouTube somewhere just to figure out what he has to say this week.
Yes. Remember Nigeria is in a state of Higa. Ovie, what's the name of that your clansman? The
Obayago. Patrick Obayago.
So I always tune in like what did he say this week? So sometimes you need that in politics. But on a more serious note, the man has done a lot to deserve that post. Now if they say that. But they said he went to school in America, for his. I saw his interview when he was speaking Igbo. He said he knew that they were going to come after him if he ran the next time. So he did his due diligence to go get that education, but he was not specific about what he did. So, but if you got it from America and they can verify that shouldn't be a problem. Now I don't know if your deputy has a force. The law about the deputy, that one I'm not too clear about. Maybe you can explain. But if the primary guy running for office has his stuff together, I think regardless of who you get as deputy, that shouldn't count against you, right?
No, that counts against it by the law because they see the ticket as a joint ticket by law.
Okay. Okay, so wow, man, so it's going to be school twice then.
Yes. I don't see that guy being sworn in. I can't say.
Somebody, I think it's personal with some people against that guy. It's like they really look at him with eye of disgust. Like, how can we have this?
Because there are several layers to this storyline in Osun State. There's the Adeleke, the Oyetola wanting to hold on to his seat. There is one, and then there is there's the side bet, the side fight of Tinubu wanting to put Aregbesola in his place that was in America celebrating the defeat of Oyetola. And then there's the overall thing to take that stage completely from the Adeleke. So a lot of squabbles within that space.
Do you see him?
But on the side of APC too, it's been reported that the deputy governor have a false certificate too. So what might happen in that state is that if Adeleke is not allowed to be the next governor because of his certificate. The same fate might happen to APC as well. So what if that should happen?
Not necessarily, Adeleke, because if we look at the Hope Uzodinma situation, when somebody loses in court, it doesn't then automatically default to legality. It defaults to whoever wins that court case. We saw it with Hope Uzodinma now. He came forth and got the thing. So if nobody is pursuing the Oyetolas regarding that certificate, then, you know.
No. What we heard is that the PDP have that information as well, that the APC deputy governor have a problem. They are keeping it in the cooler. They want to see how far they're going to go on this before they will institute maybe petition against that one too. So let's wait and see what's going to happen.
So do you see a case where they can have a rerun elections where they just say, okay, bring new people and let's do this again? Okay,
I don't think they can do that because there were people that came first, second, third, fourth. So it continues to default until it lands on.
By what margin though is it required as a minimum to win? Because you can't have 5 votes and be third, and they say because the first 2 did not win, then the guy with the 5 votes then becomes governor. You said there has to be like a threshold to say this is the minimum you have to have regardless of who.
I'm not sure that Uzodinma met that bar, and he's governor of Imo State. He came
how much did he get? How many votes did he even get?
I think he got about 200 something. I'm not sure. I have to double check. But he got
because that's a big threshold to say, even regardless of anything happened, that he must actually meet to even, you can't get 10 and say because the first 3 are on top of you failed, then you have to put you in. There has to be a number. I'm not sure. Maybe somebody can, maybe knows that.
All right. All right, but so this for you, Babati. So you asked for it, and here it is. So you asked for this, so here it is.
Let me say, prestissimo, that is as quickly as possible, that the political krinkum, or if you like, the political higgy-haga that has enveloped the politics of Rivers State for a period of time now has all the trappings of an odoriferous saga. Kum gagatwan gaga.
And there it is right there. Kum gagatom gagam. So there it is.
Lamido was from what year? What year was that?
I'll check for you, but that is a while back.
Why I ask is that the man is a prophet. The same krum gaga krum is still happening in River State. As you speak.
That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Okay.
Political
and that thing is still happening in River State as we speak. They are still krum gaga that is happening there.
Even though he speaks all this grammar, it actually makes sense, but because if you go back to all his speeches, it makes sense with what he says sometimes. Like
so can you define what can you define what cricum crackum is?
No,
because I've not come across that in the dictionary.
That's what Wike is doing. That's what Wike is doing.
You know that it combines Benin and that's what I did.
Malati, yeah, it combines
it says what my says Paracoism to come to
Paracoism. Wike is Paracoism.
Paracoism.
That's what Wike is doing. Paracoism.
All I want to see is a debate between that guy, Dino Melaye, and Wike. So I just want to see that debate, So we have to document that. That guy Dino.
And
and the economy is doing like this, and it's doing like that. My God, man, we have been in trouble for a long time. We have been in trouble.
Leave that chief alone. Leave that chief. That's an high chief. They respect that. They respect his title.
It's certainly high, but I don't know about the chief, but it's certainly high. It's high, no doubt about that. But back to you, Baba.
One time, right? He served only one time, right? He didn't win.
I'm not even sure, but he certainly delighted us.
Yes, one time, yes.
He served one time. He lost. But it was a big character back then. That was when the house was very interesting to watch. Every week when we happened, yeah, that was fun times.
All right, brilliant. And back to serious matters, the Buhari government versus the academic staff union and AK-47 to the lecturers.
Yeah, that one bothers me though. Like on a more serious thing, I'm troubled by how would you ban a union helping that one? I don't get that. Don't they see the brain drain in the country? Why are you even debating these people? In most countries, they actually have close to a quarter of their budget go to education, right? 1 month, if I'm not, maybe in the UK too. They have a lot of money dedicated to education. They value their people. They value the importance of education to development. So I don't even know how we got to the point where we are banning Asuu. To achieve what exactly? To force them to do what you want? I thought
to turn the whole country to Almajiri
I thought it was supposed to be a negotiation, right? So two parties are negotiating an issue, not then try to coerce them or force them into doing what they're doing. So I don't know if what is the Labour and start department doing? Like when they say they have brain drains, it's from don't they have numbers to say, oh, when it comes together, we are losing people here. Don't they value their own people? I mean, I'm kind of, I'm speechless. I don't even know what is going on with this.
It's quite alarming the way the Nigerian state is being run. It's just that there's no way you look within the whole thing that anything stands as it should do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was in El Paso. I was in El Paso to do some contract work with some cardio department. And I went to a hospital called Desol because I went to school there in Paul Foster. When I went to Desol, one man, all the doctors there from the 4 hospitals there, they were all Nigerians. So I said, when did you guys there? They said barely 2 years ago. I even had one that worked in Cameras. You know Cameras now in Nigeria. If you can leave Cameras to come to America to come and work, it is finished. Cameras is the top hospital in Nigeria. If you can leave Cameras to come and work in America, then we are done. He left Cameras. Don't they see what is going on? You are losing the best of the best.
I don't think they care. Well, in fact, they patently do not care.
They don't.
There's nothing to indicate, because I mean it's happening at such an across all of the spectre of the Nigerian space. Just all this, they don't care.
I spoke to my in-law the other day. He's an IT guy. So I was just telling him about the brain drain in medicine. He said he told me that it's even worse in IT. That banks are losing they are losing more IT people in Nigeria than even medicine, than even nursing. I didn't know that. That more people are coming from IT to America than even medicine. I mean, I didn't know that they are coming here. Is huge. That a whole bank would just lose their staff. IT one day just lose everybody. Next thing you know, they are abroad. And don't they see all those things? Now, forget the banks now. They are losing people that actually have experience. Now, you'll be losing them from school before they even finish, right? You'll be losing from schools now. So who will now run your country? Who will run your country? How would you even be on strike? Who goes on strike self now in school? Who does that? No.
Do you think a bit like the police and the army, that space should be ring fenced so that they are not able to go on strike?
Yeah, no. Even in America here, there are some fields, they call them essential workers now. That they might go on strike and protest, but they will have somebody to stop them. There's some things you don't even do to people now. It's human life, one man. Human life, and so. You see my point, right? Am I making sense?
No, you are making perfect sense. You just struggle to get the words out sometimes because your brain is trying to compute that how is this a possibility? So you hear that when people start to, it's just unfathomable.
Who allows doctors to go on strike? So what if you need surgery, all those emergency services? So people are actually dying right now because of what is going on. They are losing lives. You don't have adequate teaching. You're still going on strike. Even if they resume now, they have to rush the schedule, and their curriculum has to be compressed. They will not learn properly, and they'll go out there to go and serve. Don't they care?
They have to abandon this academic year and restart it, because whatever it is that they have learned, you can abandon that. Having been at home for 7-8 months. So abandon that and just repeat the whole year.
Why do we even have federal institutions? It should be state-run. That way, if you want to go, that will help us with this strike problem. There should not be any federal university. Make it state or regional. That way, fight in your own state. That's the way it should be.
Atiku suggested that at the lawyers' conference. But then the backlash, he immediately withdrew it, just like he did with
the man has to grow balls. That's the thing that I like him, but he does this backtracking that I don't like. You say something that is very right, the next thing you do, you backtrack because of the reaction. You're a leader, stand by your words. If it's right, it's right. Stand by your conviction. You call your conviction. But this is going on strike every year. I bet you one man, if they resume this year, next year they will be back again to strike again. They'll be back the same thing. I don't. So,
in the course of my life, I don't know about yours, I do not recall throughout my time in education when the universities were not on strike. So you attend one term, and then the next term you spend the first semester at home, not because you've been suspended or anything, but because did you go through the Nigerian education system without the lecturers not being on strike at least twice in the course of your?
Yeah, luckily for me, I left that place before very early, so I didn't have to experience that. That back then they didn't have a lot of private schools that was springing up in that sector for universities, so I didn't have to experience that. But I mean, do you know the kind of millions they lose if they dare that try that here? Somebody said I don't. So
it's not even the millions that they lose. What I'm just trying to quantify is the lives that will be destroyed.
Right.
Because there will be countless lives destroyed. People that would deviate from their path in life and follow a different path off the back of this. So we're talking of young girls getting pregnant, which the parents would then say, since you are now a parent, you are on your own, or some guy taking to some fast money and then discovering that this is another. All these lives that are just being destroyed off the back of this.
My best friend in Nigeria when I finished secondary school, because I did not do JAMB because I knew I was leaving, so I was applying to do the SAT. He did JAMB. It was my best friend. I know the man had a parallel. Everything. I mean, he was a brilliant guy. It was oh my God, physics, everything. He was sharp. One man. I went back to Nigeria in 2017. After many years, 17 years. This man, do you know what he does now? One man, he does jingles on radio. They changed his destiny. So I said, "What happened?" But he said he got him. They gave him. Apparently, they assigned you your degree first. They gave him zoology first. They said that if he gets it, then they will change it later. The man got stuck. That's a brilliant chap. I'm like, if it was in America, they would be running after you with scholarships. So they've changed that guy's destiny. So now he's doing jingles on radio with 2 kids now. That is the end. What do you mean?
What do you mean, Babati? They change it, or are you trying to say they destroy it? They destroy his destiny.
I'm being nice to. I've been nice with my work. It's a very sad.
No, they destroy his destiny.
It's a very sad, very brilliant chap. That guy, anything physics, it was our school rep. I was like for that math kind of thing, but it was a brilliant, amazing dude. Everything a parallel. So I'm like, come on.
Everything in that school, in that country is not good. It's a very bad structured country on education, on everything. Nothing good in that country at all. Man, everything is not well structured. It's just.
So now I try to now even if you have the brains now, if you don't have the money, you will not get some courses to even get into study in Nigeria. If you don't have some connections, you will not get, even though you have the brains. So it's a very sad situation. So one man, don't blame me when I say I give up on Nigeria sometimes. When I think about
you can't give up on Nigeria because it's not as though you have an alternate choice. So because you in America, you always be you in America, but you in Nigeria,
what do you mean that you have no alternate choice? He's a U.S. citizen. The U.S.
it doesn't matter. It can be a U.S. citizen.
It matters. Why do you want to? Why do you want to go and kill yourself because of one country that doesn't even care about you?
Yeah, but he's a U.S. citizen. But in Nigeria, he's a senior prince of Yoruba land. He's not a senior prince in America. Does he have Oriki?
One man, yes, oh, you are not just an ordinary person. Yes, that's true.
You don't have Oriki in America now.
You're right.
But one man, this is my thing. On the more serious note, I'm saying that when I say I give up, not because I really give up, but I'm out of solution. Like if somebody can give me what to do about it, I will follow them to do it. But me, I'm out of ideas about fixing that place, is what I'm saying. I just don't see how we, collectively fix that problem. So it's not
ultimately, Nigeria needs a revolution. We need at least one revolution in that country to reset it.
So why didn't you follow Sowore then?
No, I'm talking about why do you have to diminish it to that?
Babati, that is one man. That is one man for you. That's one man for you. He said we need a revolution, and he doesn't want to support it. And several people in Nigeria, they will say the same thing. Engineer was saying the other day, "Oh, I like Peter Obi. I like it, but it doesn't want to support." You see, we are just
you see that,
most of the time we just don't know what we want. That's just the problem.
That revolution can never be political in nature. That's the thing.
Yes, Adeleke, we are a bunch of confused people. Adeleke. That's why.
They don't turn our head upside down. We don't know what they do.
And I think we are not far from it. I think there's going to be a catalyst. There's going to be a catalyst.
One man, remember I asked earlier, you said you were not far from it. I said, what is the rock bottom? Because you must get to that rock bottom first.
We are at the precipice of it, are we not? Are we not a step from the rock bottom?
They have redefined the meaning of the word endurance, like I said before. When you think that is enough, that they will now flip, they will move the goalpost again. So
okay, I can give you a date for it if you want to know when. It will be June 2023.
And what is that? What is going to trigger that?
That is when they remove the fuel subsidy. That will be the trigger point.
So when Goodluck did the 1991, what happened?
No, that was just a little takeaway. Now they are going to.
They are Nigerians. You know the way we are. We will go on this complaint for 2 weeks, and next thing you know, we go back home. It's our nature. They know us already.
All right, we'll see how that plays out. But
am I lying? You need to the past record.
Well, no, there is endurance because there is scope to endure. That's only how you can endure. You can bear it only if there's scope to bear it. If it's unbearable, then it is unbearable. When it's unbearable, that means there is no scope anymore to bear it. So,
like I said, they have redefined the meaning of the word endurance. That's what I'm saying. Nigerians have, if you type in endurance, just look at Nigerians on Google. That's
suffering and smiling.
They cope like anything else. They'll just adjust. Like it's not. I'm like, to manage the beginning, no. But they didn't share. And God will help us, and we'll pray for them. No, and go continue praying. Annoying. Oh, not of body now. It's annoying now.
Oh, no, Baba Washi.
Check, but you see what I'm saying? Leave God alone. God will be okay. Handle your own business. Leave God alone for 5 minutes.
But I think Nigeria is at the precipice of that rock bottom.
Okay, what?
Certainly,
I'll be back here, God willing, that date to remind you that I told you so. That they will move the goalpost.
Because there's no room to move anymore. I mean, where else would they move to? What more adjustment is there to adjust for this?
Let me give you my own. If that happens and they remove it, I told you our problem of culture and religion and everything. If Tinubu wins right now, let's say Tinubu wins, and they remove the subsidy, right, and everything goes up, and he says, "Don't worry, in due time, everything will be okay." If you attack Tinubu, they will say, because it's Yoruba, leave him alone. No, he's trying to fix the country that somebody else made, so it will turn tribal.
The only thing is Tinubu is able to manage that oil subsidy space to insulate the people. Yes, because he has the acumen and the accoutrement.
One man. You are. I love him too, but sometimes we praise him too much. Sometimes I don't think he's going to do enough.
I think he might well end up to be probably the greatest Nigerian leader if his health holds. I think he might well be.
There you go. You see, there we are. The health thing, is it going to hold up?
Yeah, but there's always a give now. There's always a tension to greatness. So that's a. But I suspect that Tinubu will be the greatest Nigerian, and I think a lot of people they are invested in that.
Okay, let's just wait to the time you said about Nigerians actually having enough. The enough is enough. Let's see if that for once in their life. For once,
but they might not get to that point. Is the thing, because if Tinubu comes in, he will rebalance.
One man, why are you sounding like an obedient Tinubu version like this? It's like a Yoruba version of obedient. The way you're standing there with Tinubu now,
because Tinubu has a brain.
Okay,
which we do, and it's a master. He always lands on his feet.
You know what? I give him credit for two things as a Yoruba person. But he saved us from.
And Peter Obi does not have a brain, so that's the difference.
He saved us from political slavery in 2003. That decision of not going with the PDP, OBJ, that trickery, he saved the Yoruba race from political slavery. So that was a brilliant move. So I give him that. So if he can do more of that at the federal level, then maybe. But
the rescue of Nigeria is just in two spaces. It's in policy positioning and political will. There is no magic to it. So is to position the policies to benefit the country and to have the political will to do that.
And one thing Nigeria needs desperately that is skilled at is finding the right person to put in the right position. He's a master of finding those people.
Well, and there it is. We saw it under Obasanjo now. Tinubu more gifted than Obasanjo. Obasanjo probably the best president Nigeria has had by virtue of that simplicity of putting the right people in the right positions and then letting them do what they just leave them to get on with their job.
And he knows. I think unlike Obi, he can go toe to toe like if OBJ confronts him, he can go toe to toe.
Yes, he has the balls as well. He does not have the balls now. He doesn't have the balls. He doesn't have the brain. So what are we talking about?
But one man, I don't have trust in the Nigerian people when it comes to revolution at this point. I know you said otherwise, but we will wait till June. God willing, we'll be alive. We'll be here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we might get to that June, and the need for revolution might have dissipated. Because the country might be on the upward curve again.
Within 2 months, within 2 3 months.
It was policy positioning, isn't it? What Tinubu is going to do is, if he takes over the governance, he's going to pump money into the economy to insulate the people as a quick measure for that feel-good factor. And then he will try to work policy around it to sustain it. That's what he's going to do.
Do you know what I think? If Tinubu wins, one man, this is what I think. The first 3 months, what you will see in Nigeria is you will see money flowing from all over the world in terms of investment opportunities. We start seeing companies coming for meetings to negotiate terms of deals for manufacturing. I can see that happening based on what I've seen about Tinubu. I can see money flowing into Nigeria for manufacturing.
And it's able to hold steady and maintain that. Then that will be the upward curve.
But he needs four healthy years at least.
Yes.
Healthy years. He cannot be 2 years. He needs 4.
So it's his health that is the greatest stumbling block. But I have faith in that guy. I don't know why. I don't even like him. It's the issue. I actually detest him.
Man, at this point, forget like love or like. Just something that is effective is the point.
Yeah.
Effectiveness is the point.
And I like Peter Obi, by the way, but I just don't believe. I just think it's just a nonsense, But there it is.
We win. Somebody even told me today. My Igbo friend, he's one of my good friends. He said, I said, let me give you half of Lagos. That was like 2 months ago. He called me, but he said, you know what? Obi will be very competitive in the Southwest. I'm like, stop right there. He said he'll be very competitive in the Southwest. I said, competitive care. I said, he said we will win a kitty, we will win or your money or more. This guy, something is wrong with you, people. So I think but Tinubu is the man to beat. Atiku too. I like Atiku as well, but sometimes I don't know. Maybe Atiku. It will be Tinubu, Atiku, Obi. Adebayo, of course. Is my guy, but I'm being. But Tinubu is in the top, but his health is just questionable right now. That's just the whole problem.
All right, brother. All right, Babati, full time. Let me go on to Ajale Koko. I think he has a better connection now. Ajale Koko, we struggled to hear you earlier, but on my way to you, let me acknowledge Alexander Gomez's super chat pointing in the direction of both Babati and yourself. It says Babati speaks with an Egba undertone, like Ajale Koko. So yeah, there he is, and he wants to give up on Nigeria. Son of the soil. But there it is. So Ajale Koko to it, then Nigeria's $100 billion debt.
Look, let me say good morning, afternoon, evening to our listeners around the world. Use this time to click on the like button, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Look, one man, it's getting clearer that Nigeria is moving towards economic collapse, and our foreign reserve has gone down to maybe 15 billion right now, against 100 billion debt. That is total deficit on our side. So our nation balance sheet is showing zero completely. So I can hear Kulata saying that GDP to debt to GDP is the best, and not debt to revenue. Debt to GDP ratio is the best, and not debt to revenue.
No, he said the debt to GDP ratio is great, but the debt to revenue is pathetic.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He said debt to GDP ratio.
Yeah, you know these accountants, they try to bury everything in the
figures. They can say all sort of things that they want to say.
It's trying to cook the books.
But in the reality of it, with regard to our economy, debt to GDP doesn't work, and it will never work for us. It will drag us down into penniless, a country with 200 million population, with nothing in its reserve and nothing to run the country, lack of fund to run the country. So what is the debt to GDP ratio meant for? Our economy is not a productive economy. So debt to GDP ratio cannot work in an economy that is not stable, economy that is not productive, economy that is not industrialized. When you see this theory that Kulata is saying, you see some people saying it on TV, you just laugh at them. That what are they thinking about? The way debt to GDP ratio work with advanced countries that are well industrialized economy well-productive economy, a country that, you know, economically well-structured, with strong financial base, those are the country, those are the economy that debt to GDP ratio could work. We lack all these factors I mentioned. We are not financially strong as a country. Our banking industry are not as strong as expected to finance financially. I mean, are not as strong as much to finance some strong required, I mean, financially required project. We are not as strong as I mean, our banking industry are not as strong in comparison to the banking sector in America or some of these finance countries. We our what do you call our small and medium scale industry are not well financed. Agriculturally, we are not. We lack that food security. We lack every form of security that drive a nation existent to work as a nation. We lack all of them. So what are we talking about? So Nigeria is going to run into serious financial problem. We are going to run into serious financial problem where we will not be able to pay our debt anymore, except if our debtor have to reschedule our debt. Maybe they can give us, that could help us out of this financial problem that we are running into. We are already in it. We are now paying 1.9 trillion to service our debt against 1.6 trillion that we make as revenue. That is that is unsustainable, and if that should continue, we are going to run into a situation where the creditors will not borrow us anymore. What we are doing now, we are borrowing to pay debt. We are borrowing to pay salaries. We are borrowing to run the economy in entirety. We have nothing on our own. We are not financially strong anymore to run our economy, and we are not a productive economy. So how are we going to survive it? So it's a serious economic calamity ahead of us. And that is why you see they don't have the money to pay the workers. They have borrowed more than they deserve from the central bank. You know, so to pay salaries, they are owing several banks over 48 or maybe 40 or 48 billion dollars. They are owing the international community, what do you call it, finance institution around the world, over 100 billion. So it is just a serious problem ahead of us as a country. It looks like it's going to run into a situation now. We are going to run into a situation where we won't be able to pay workers at the federal government, at the state government, at local government, and when that happens, then we are going to run into a state of anarchy, because those workers include armed forces, the police, and other paramilitaries, officers as well. So,
who are
so
who are we taxing? You said we tax. Who are we taxing?
Hold on. Let Ajande Koko land and then we come to that. So, carry on, Ajande Koko.
So we are running into real serious economic calamity. In the next 6 months, if we continue the way we are now with this financial problem we find ourselves, the next 6 months, we will be completely broke. We will have nothing anymore in our foreign reserve, and Nigeria going to run into economic situation like Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a country with nothing in their foreign reserve anymore. They are incapable to pay their foreign debt. They are incapable to pay their bills. They are incapable to pay for any form of importation of goods into their country. And so it is happening to us. We are incapable to pay the airlines to remit all organizations, international organizations in Nigeria are moving out of their country because it's very impossible for them to remit their fund to their home country because of lack of forex in Nigeria. The tech industries in Nigeria, they are moving out in fast numbers. Tech industry that work with the banks, that work with other organizations, they are moving out of Nigeria now because they couldn't get the money. They can't get their money remitted. So we are heading towards economic disaster. And on top of it, for us to know that these politicians have killed that country, we remain the cost of governance is the highest in the whole world. Compare the size of our country, compare our economy, we remain the country with the highest cost of governance. And these people in charge of governance are not ready to cut down on their sizes. They are not ready to cut down on their pay. They are not ready to cut down on anything. So it is just a calamity. It's just a calamity, and we cannot escape it. We cannot escape it, except we have debt forgiveness or debt resettlement, rescheduling, debt rescheduling, or debt forgiveness. That is the only thing that can help us out of this economic problem that we are facing in this country. And when you don't have a good economy, democracy cannot work well in a country that does not have a good economy, a strong economy that drives democracy to work well. So they are intertwined. When democracy works well, it can help the economy. It can stimulate economic growth because they are going to through government policy, to drive a lot of activities that can stimulate economic growth. But in the case of ours, it's a different ball game. It's unfortunate, one man.
All right, brilliant. So thank you, Adeleke Koko. So we're coming up to the 3-hour mark. So definitely I have to come off the screen. But before I do that, let me just acknowledge the super chats that have been coming in. So let me acknowledge the super chats that have been coming in. Kulata super chatting to. Oh, sorry, I'm hearing myself back from. I think it's from. Hold on, yeah. So from myself. All right. So Kulata.
Before you close down, can I say something on Asuu, please?
Oh, but it has to be very, very brief because my wife is giving me dirty looks. But yeah, go on.
Oh, okay. It might be no. That means don't be no. Okay. Let me tell you the Asuu case if this government, this irresponsible government we have in Nigeria, government that feed for no purpose, if they should clamp down on Asuu, if they should, disband, or what are they going to do? That is the death of public education in Nigeria. That's the death of tertiary institution, public tertiary institution in Nigeria. So, and you are going to see a situation where right now we are saying that our output, our tertiary institution output is poor. You are going to see the poorest of the poor, because we are going to lose the qualities professors that we have that are well experienced, quality lecturers around the country. We'll be left with no choice but leaving the country. And when you have arrays of experts in education, in educational sector, leaving your country, what is going to remain? That is the death. So be prepared for the death of education in Nigeria, and be prepared for more banditry, be prepared for more criminality, be prepared for more terrorists, be prepared for the worst of the worst crime ever in the history of mankind. That is it, one man. I don't want to take your time. And say hi to your wife for me.
Yes, no, I'll blame it on you. She knows you by voice, if not by person. Yeah. They say, is it that your friend Adeleke Koko again? So so yeah, my go-to now. If I want to blame anything, I'll say no, it's Adeleke Koko. If I go out and I'm late coming back, I say no, it's Adeleke Koko. So you are getting the blame for everything in this house at the moment. But thank you, Adeleke Koko. In the later session, then we have even more scope to go really expansive. But let me acknowledge the super chat. Kulata, he says, debt to revenue is the cocoa we need to tax. So Kulata wanted to destroy and kill off of obviously the
Nigerian tax we are making 10
yes. So they pay 10 kobo now. They pay 10 kobo. But Jafar comes in. He says, more than 10 people actively involved in this conversation with only 5 likes. This is unacceptable, guys. We can do better. So that is the call then for you to click on the like button and subscribe if you haven't done that. So thank you for the super chats and thank you for the conversation, everyone. Not enough time as ever, but plenty more time in the evening when we reconvene, around about 9:40 thereabout UK time. So come here to hear more from Adeleke Koko and the red.
Please add that tax thing later, please. We need to address the tax.
Yeah, no, Kulata is a killer now. You know, these accountants, they only see figures, they don't see human beings. So join us in the latter session where we have more scope to be a bit more expansive in thought, and come and hear Adeleke Koko expand even more on that academic space that he only touched on as a cameo. So I'll leave it there. Carry conversation on within the comment section over here. Say peace. Thank you, everybody.